just like that, it was Monday. Here we are. Thanks for tuning in. Monday. Does it even feel like Monday to y'all? It does not. It kind of feels like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And I did a lot this weekend. When you don't get those 2 days to kick back, does Monday really feel like a Monday? Regardless, here we are, man, and here I am, and thank goodness you're here. Good to see you and hear you and talk to you on this Monday. Y'all let me know what's up. Lots of ways for you to be a part of the show here today in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance across the great state of Mississippi. Hey there, Dorothy. She says hi on Facebook. What's up with you, Austin? The first two to comment on the live stream. So a new setup for the live stream. I don't know if y'all can tell. Probably can't tell. If it's working like it's supposed to, you really wouldn't be able to tell that there's a new setup for the live stream. But given the fact that we got comments popping up all over the place, that must mean we're streaming. It must be working. So fingers crossed that it'll continue to work and we'll make it through the show today. So if you're tuning in on the live stream, feel free to comment. Like Joy, you can give me a wave and just say hi. Or like Whoa, you can say hi from Fishers, Indiana. All of that. And then y'all text me on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. It is the best. So, what was the package that I had? 3 cheese. I finished it with the black pepper and cheese, finished it, thawed out another 3 cheese, finished it. In the meantime, bought a package of the green onion, opened that up, going through it. And this morning, opened up a package of maple. I have eaten it twice. You can ask my wife. I ate some for breakfast, and then I ate some again just a little while ago for lunch. So I like it. Country Pleasin' text line is 885-ESPN or 885-3776. 601 area code there. So y'all hit me up. Feel free to call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer, the oldest Kubota dealer in the U.S., in fact. Means they've been doing it better longer than anyone else right there at Davini, right here at home. Highway 51 Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson. So call me on the Davini phone, 995-1059. It's a 601 number, 995-1059. Speaking of, okay, real quick, Davini, it's not just tractors and that kind of thing. Yes, tractors, Kubota, New Holland, ATVs, all the toys that your favorite man in your life wants and likes and needs. Yeah. But it's also for the hunter. They've got everything. Things that you can climb a tree with, things you can climb a tree and sit in. Camo this, camo that. Boots, big bags of, I don't know, what is in that bag? Corn? All kinds of, any trailers, ATVs, they'll fix your four-wheeler. Davini, they're the one-stop shop for the hunter also. And letting the cat out of the bag right here, Jonathan at Davini and I, and some others have got our heads together, and we are about to kick off, and I'll announce the details this week, a big buck challenge. Oh, dear. Prizes. There will be prizes given away in February, and we're going to be taking it all the way through the winter and through the deer season. And you'll be able to go to Davini and get your deer scored and enter the competition. You just might take something home. So details coming on that. We'll give you the details coming up this week. Maybe talk to Jonathan about it. All right. So comments, opinions, otherwise, call me, text me, hit me up on the comments section here on the live stream. A lot of people on Facebook commenting already. Let's see what we have over here. Austin says, happy Monday. Jessica, happy Monday to you. My cousin Mary Ellen out in Texas, happy Monday to you. Anna says, hey, Matt, eating leftovers, tuning in from Brandon. Leftovers, huh? Huh, Anna? What kind of leftovers? Are we talking Thanksgiving? Because that's been a little while. I hope they've been in the fridge. No, it's got to be some other kind of leftovers. Nicholas, you're asking how was the weekend? Well, for me, it was a pretty good weekend. I was able to see some outstanding high school football. It was a real pleasure. Hey, and on that note, Grumpy texted the show just a minute ago. He was the first to text. And he says, hey, Matt, enjoyed the championship games. I listened to 105.9, The Zone, Jackson. He says, Jake and Northern Buddy were outstanding. Please mention his name. Yeah, Ben Ingram. Right, that's Ben. And then he says, how about the Crimson Tide? They could have scored 100. Disappointed that Arkansas lost. Hope JB's back soon. We'll get JB back hopefully towards the end of the week. Bill doing a great job filling his shoes. Grumpy says that Mrs. Grumpy has gone to the store to fetch some country pleasing sausage. Any flavor is okay. Have a good one. Same to you, Grumpy. Thanks. You're right. Any flavor. Look, if you haven't had the original, the original smoked sausage flavor from Country Pleasing, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's great. They kind of, built their name on that and then branched out from there, but you can't go wrong with it. Yeah, listen. Okay, so Chris Brooks was, you had 6 championship games, 6 classifications in Mississippi MHSAA public school football this past weekend. You had 3 on Friday, 3 on Saturday. The 3 Friday were, don't quote me on this, 3A, 1A, and then 6A on Friday night. And Chris Brooks, who's a little under the weather, was supposed to call he was going to be the color analyst on television broadcast and online for the 3 o'clock game, which is 1A championship, and then the 7 o'clock game on Friday, which was the 6A championship. Well, he couldn't do it. He called me, and I was able to go fill in. So it was a real treat. Well, I got to see Brian Eubanks, and then also got to see Will Kohlmeyer work with both of those guys in the booth for those 2 games. But there were 2 phenomenal games. If you watched them or listened to them or kept up with them, you know what I'm talking about. The 1A game really stood out to me because you have players on both teams playing both ways. I mean, for instance, Robert Henry, the running back at Lumberton who won the 1A state championship, he is probably about to be the 3rd straight time for him to be the Mr. Football winner in the state of Mississippi for 1A, right? So he's a 2-time winner coming into this year. He just goes for almost I guess he did rush for 2,000 yards this year after the championship game, led them to the win. He scored their points on offense. But he scores this touchdown. We're like, holy cow, look at this run, and he's this great running back. They go kickoff, and then he makes the tackle on first down on defense. He's playing defense too. You look at Biggersville, who had this unbelievable season, 13-0, and came up just a little short, but went ahead in the last minute of the ball game because their quarterback, Goldman Butler, who started the year as their running back, who nobody could stop all year long, throws this incredible touchdown pass right towards the end of the game to give them the lead, and then Lumberton had to come down and throw their own touchdown pass. We hadn't seen throwing hardly any of the game. The plays they were making is incredible. And this kid, Goldman Butler, he wears number 23. He's a running back, big old guy, 6 foot, 6'1", 220. He'd have a hard time tackling. He's also the starting middle linebacker on defense. He began his career as an offensive lineman. And he's out there in his senior year in the state championship game throwing darts on a post route in the last minute of the ball game. It's absolutely what football is all about. So I loved it. You love to see what Lumberton was able to do, come back and win it after losing last year. Then you go to Friday night, the 6A game. Oxford, undefeated, versus Oak Grove, undefeated 6A teams. A rematch of last year's 6A championship game. And you saw how that went. Oak Grove scores first, Oxford answers, back and forth. It's tied at halftime. Then in the second half, Oxford seemed to get a little control of the game. And then, of course, right at the end, an unbelievable drive for a touchdown for Oak Grove to get it to within 1 point. And instead of kicking the extra point with 7 seconds left to tie the game, they decide they're going to go for 2 to win the game. 7 seconds left. Going for 2-point conversion. They line up, have to call a timeout. Or Oxford does. Oak Grove lines up again. Timeout. Twice now they've lined up for the 2-point conversion. Timeouts both times. Come back out on the third one. All 3 times they lined up differently. They didn't have a certain play they were determined to run. They just determined to go for 2. And this time, little roll out to the right, throw back to the tight end in the back corner of the end zone. How close was it? Little kid wearing number 2 playing safety linebacker for Oxford on the backside of the defense read it. He was the only guy on the Oxford defense who saw the play. As the quarterback goes away from him, he turned back. He could see the tight end peeling out to come backside. He turned and tried to run with him, ran with him step for step, came within inches of diving and getting a hand on the football to bat it away. And despite all that distraction, the tight end for Oak Grove caught the football. His first touchdown, I think he said it was his first touchdown of the year, but it's certainly his biggest catch of the year. And he held on to it. And the throw by Barnett, the quarterback for Oak Grove, the throw to put that on that back pylon, it was just dead on the money. Any farther, it's out of bounds. Any behind, it's batted away. It had to be perfect. And they win the game with that 2-point conversion. It was just incredible. And you know what? Before I get to your comments, and I'm coming to those real quick here on the text line and on the live stream. Look, I watched both those games, and whether it was right at the end of the game or driving away that night or whatever, you start to think about the losing team. Think about Biggersville, for instance, in 1A. Had never been to a state championship before, but had a 13-0 season going. Their coach, Coach Pratt, who took over the program, when he got the job, he goes, they only had 8 guys come out for football. Now he's got them in the state title game with 22 on his roster. Or 20, that's not right, 26, 28 on his roster. And to come so close. And to have this unbelievable, miraculous touchdown drive. That was this big pass play down to the 1, and they stick it in and score to take the lead with about a minute left. You're going to win, only to have them come back and throw a go route over your head and catch it in the end zone for a touchdown to beat you. You think about the seniors on that team, how close. I mean, 13-1 is great, but how do you tell them that? You know, what do you do? How do you handle the deflating feeling you have of losing a game like that and losing a game that way? You think about the losing team. And you think about Oxford in that 6A. Think about seniors on that Oxford team. They had an undefeated season going in against Oak Grove, and to have it end that way, well, they go for 2 with 2 seconds or 7 seconds left to beat you by 1 point. How do you handle it? And as I thought about the perspective of the losing team, what do you say to them? Well, here's what you say to them. You say the team that you just lost to was in your shoes last year. That's the thing that jumps out at me. You want a picture and an example of how hard it is to win state championships? To win a championship at any level, at anything. Look at Lumberton and look at Oak Grove. Lumberton in 1A. Look at Oak Grove in 6A. The biggest classification, the smallest classification is the exact same story. They both, last year, played for a state championship and lost it. They were on the losing end last year. They had to handle the tears and the questions from seniors on their team last year. They had to, that coach and that staff and those kids, they had to wave goodbye to last year's senior class, having not sent them out in their eyes the right way. And that deflating feeling of everything we've done ended just short of what we wanted. How do you pick up the pieces and start back over? How do you... Both those programs not only picked up the pieces, but went to work a little more and a little harder and a little better the next time. Both those programs, Lumberton and Oak Grove, went back to the state championship, and both those programs won it this year. So that's what you say to Biggersville, and that's what you say to Oxford, is look, the team you just lost to was in your shoes last year. Now, what are you going to do? The road to get back here to win it next year like they did the next year starts tomorrow. You can cry tonight, cry yourself to sleep, but you better file it away because the road to getting back here begins next week. It's to to me, it's this great. As I glanced at it, both in the booth and from a distance, and then thinking about it driving away, it's this great microcosm of life. We even talked about that in the 6A broadcast, like these moments during the game as they were exchanging punches, so to speak. How that's not the right euphemism, but you get the point. They were exchanging scores. Is for each team during the course of that game, it's really not about what happens to you. It's strictly about how do you go respond to it. You've heard that. Life's not about getting knocked down. It's about getting up. Life's not about what happens to you. It's about how you react to what happens to you. And so it really is true. You look at Lumberton, 1A school. Rug gets jerked out from under them last year. They're sitting there on the losing side of the 1A title game in Hattiesburg, looking at Nana Wyatt across the field, had won 2 straight. How do you react to that? Well, that was our shot. That was our one shot. We didn't get it done. All right, so we just ride off into the sunset. Forget it. No. Coaching staff and sophomores and juniors decided they better practice harder. They better lift more weights. They better get better, and they can get back and win it. And they did. And the same thing for Oak Grove. It's inspiring when you see those kinds of things from kids. All right, here we go. Here's your comments. There's a few thoughts of the high school weekend. By the way, and I didn't see Saturday's games. Kept up with scores, but we were busy Saturday. My daughter was in a production of The Nutcracker here in our hometown of Tupelo. It was great. She was Polly Chanel. She got to come out from under the, they have the giant woman and skirt, and all the little Polly Chanels come running out from under the skirt. She was one of those. So I kept up with scores on the Saturday games, but y'all may know more about them than I do, the actual games themselves. And, of course, Taylorsville just, they win the 2A. It's the only blowout of the whole weekend, and they're the 2A state champion, and they're moving down to 1A next year. All right, Nick, country please and text line, says, check out the USS Arizona Twitter page. It's always a great follow on this day as they live tweet the bombing as it would have been in real time. Yeah, y'all check that out. December 7th, Pearl Harbor. December 7th, 1941, the day that Pearl Harbor was bombed and all those men and women killed. Yeah, check that out. I did not know that, Nick. I appreciate the heads up. I'm going to do that. I'll pull it up. Check out the USS Arizona Twitter page. Okay, thank you. I'll check it out. All right, Jason in Flagstaff says, you tweeted about Taylorsville winning the 2A title in blowout fashion and that they're moving down to 1A next year. And Jason says he remembers Boonville years ago moving down. He was at O'Bannon. He said, we lost one regular season game his junior and senior years, then played Boonville in the first round of the playoffs. He said, I remember the senior year, they came to our field and it looked like they had more dressed out than we had people in the stands. And then the games weren't close. There's a big old gap top to bottom in some of the classifications. But, I mean, that's just the way it is. In a sparsely populated state, you're just going to have some of that. Grumpy, he responded, he said, Matt, Will Kohlmeyer was who I was speaking of. Glad to see Eubanks back after surgery. Yeah, I know. I mean, what? Brian Eubanks had gallbladder surgery last week, and there he is on Friday afternoon calling that game on television with me. Okay, so yeah, Will Kohlmeyer. You said Jake and Northern Buddy. I thought you were talking about Ben Ingram, who called some of the games with Jake on the radio. Yeah, Will Kohlmeyer had television duty. He did the 6A game on Friday night, did the 5A game on Saturday night. And you're right, Grumpy. He says when you lose, you find out what you're made of. That's it. Everybody's great when you win. When you lose, you really kind of find out what's there. You kind of whittle away a lot of the fluff. Unnamed texter. By the way, the text line 885-ESPN. It's a 601 number. 885-ESPN. 885-3776. Unnamed texter says, Matt, what about the Alabama High School State Championship game where a team scored 10 points in just a few seconds to win the game? Yeah, Auburn High School versus Thompson. They were playing it in Tuscaloosa. We saw those highlights last week. Talked about it some. Incredible. You just better keep playing. You just never know how the ball is going to bounce. And I will say, a block punt for a score and then followed immediately by that same team recovering an onside kick, those two things together, it's like lightning striking the same person twice. It ain't happening. That's the chances of that are astronomical. But you just never know. The ball is oblong. There's no way to predict how it's going to bounce. There's some coach speak for you. Over here on the live stream, Austin is listening and watching in Hattiesburg. Got you a new college coach there, Will Hall, the new head football coach at Southern Miss. He's going to do well. Got you a state champion in 6A there in Hattiesburg, Oak Grove. I tell you what, things are good right now in Hattiesburg, aren't they, Austin? Anna said, it's not Thanksgiving leftovers. It was homemade chicken soup from yesterday. That's more like it. Yeah, if it was Thanksgiving leftovers, I'm like, you might want to not venture too far from the old water closet. You know what I'm saying? Hang in there. Austin says Oak Grove is the new South Panola. Well, speaking of, West Point went into Saturday night with a chance to go 5 state championships in a row and came up short, which would have been equaling what South Panola did. But instead of West Point, it was West Jones. West Jones got it done. And, whoa, you said, was it a controversial finish to the 5A game Saturday? I don't know what you heard about it. I didn't see it. We were inside the arena here in my hometown of Tupelo watching the Nutcracker, and I was getting texts of the scores. I just know that, right at the end of the game, there was a West Point down, could have won it with a touchdown, trying to get the ball, and right at the end of the game, West Jones apparently fumbled. Do I have that right? Recovered or something by West Point, but they called a face mask in there somewhere that awarded the football back to West Jones and gave him a first down, and they closed out the game and ended West Point's run of dominance in 5A. So hats off to West Jones. It was a phenomenal weekend of football. And on the college scene, it was kind of boring except for one game. But you get what you want and what we knew we would get, and that's Alabama versus Florida coming up in the SEC title game. We can also preview that and talk about that. More of your texts and comments coming up. Y'all stick around. Trust me on this, you will sleep better on a mattress from Nest and Wild. It's 100% American made, from top to bottom, all the way to the floor. It's a great Mississippi company. It's right here at home. I know the people. Every mattress they make is 12 inches thick, and if you order it, it'll show up in your doorstep in 5 days. So if you're like me and sometimes you procrastinate on Christmas gifts, you can wait right up until the last minute. All right, I'm not suggesting that, but you could do it. And if you use Bully20, BULLY20, you also get a free pillow top mattress cover to go with it. So it's a great deal. Use that code. Go to nestandwild.com, order your mattress, get it here in time for Christmas. Winsipedia.com. Winsipedia.com. Wins, the letter I, pedia.com. Winsipedia.com. If you're a football fan, if you keep up with games, you have a favorite team who's playing somebody new this weekend, certainly if you're a person that's in media, like me, you're in radio or maybe you write, this is an incredible website that's a resource for any historical matchup. You can compare any two teams, just put them in there, no matter who they are in Division I football. It'll give you the entire series history. It'll give it to you visually in a graph. You can click on individual matchups. You can look at the whole list. You can even get information, historical information on just one team, but Winsipedia, it's a great historical matchup resource for college football. Check it out.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. If you head with me over to cspire.com, over to their website, this is something you can do. And I noticed this today before I went and logged in. I was going to pay my bill. And it says at the top, deals you can believe in. You click that shop deals, and it takes you over here to a couple of things that you need to know about here for the holiday season. First of all, they're doing a trade-in right now. So like I can take my old iPhone 8 Plus and trade this in for an iPhone 12. The other thing is I wanted to show you this. First of all, I love the ad with the bull and the Santa hat, but the no bull deal, you probably heard about that on our show. No gotchas and hidden in the fine print in the bill. No most expensive plan requirements. No waiting 3 months to get your promo credit. No having to, bring a phone number with you, all that kind of stuff. I can tell you from experience, I go here, my bill's the same every month. There's not a lot of hidden stuff. My cost doesn't go up. Once I'm in. I know what it costs every month. You get all of that stuff. And I just wanted to make you aware. Just go to cspire.com. You can see all of it. Merry Christmas.
It's the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back with you. Yeah, so the Real C was picking on Chris Brooks earlier today. He's all over Twitter getting on his case. We're just getting Chris well. That's all we're doing, Real C. What did he say? He said, "Don't worry, Mississippi Gridiron will be back on Monday," they said. I wasn't worried. I already knew. Real C said, "Hopefully Radio Wyatt will provide sports and entertainment for the peoples on this great day." And then he went on to say, he said, "I do miss Beaver, though. I'm not sure why, but I do." Nah, they're a great tandem. We'll get them back soon. We will get them back soon. Y'all feel free to call me on the don't call me on the text line. Call me on the phone line, the Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer, the oldest Kubota dealer in the U.S. Been doing it better longer than anybody else. That's Davini. It's 995-1059, a 601 number, 995-1059. Love to hear your voice today on this Reaction Monday. So Bama beat the absolute tar out of LSU. Here's the State of the Union for you in college football. You ready? Most exciting game of the weekend was Arkansas and Missouri. It really wasn't close. It was the most exciting. The Coastal Carolina win over BYU. Phenomenal. Okay, didn't watch it, but I know it happened. Outside of that, snooze fest. Unfortunately, snooze fest, and that is what we are getting every weekend. Snooze fest. You and I and everybody else already knew the outcome of the Alabama-LSU game. It wasn't a matter of was it going to be a blowout. It was just a matter of they're going to beat them by 4 touchdowns or 6. Everybody knew it going in. Now, it's not a problem for the Alabama fan base. It's not a problem for the Florida fan base. I mean, at least the first quarter of Florida and Tennessee was interesting. But outside of that, y'all, all this pandemic has done is for college football is it has highlighted everything that has been done wrong by the leaders in that sport for decades. That's all this pandemic has done. It's just basically shown a big bright spotlight on just how out of whack things are. And I will tell you this, some of the people who are the least happy about what's going on in college football are the TV partners, because fans are just not there. They're just not there. Hey, look at here who just walked into my humble Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. Is a member of my home team. Hold on, I'm delaying here so I can get the applause button ready. A member of my home team, the homecoming queen, Annie.
This is a new headset.
No, same one.
No?
It's the same one. I just switched it around.
Something is different. Did you move the microphone?
Yeah, I flipped
it used to be on the left.
Right. I flipped it around because, because your daughter, little Miss Polly Chanel, she came in here and helped me yesterday.
And she told you to move it?
No, I just did it because it's what fit her head best. I had her sitting in a chair right here because I've rearranged everything using a new service. It's going to allow me to put y'all on camera in the future when you come to be a guest on the show.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Not today. That's how I feel about it. It's
Why
Monday.
not?
It's the Monday. It's the Monday.
Yeah, she's here on a Monday. Well,
you had a big weekend with the playoffs.
Oh, I loved
in Jackson.
it.
You had a great time. It was cold, but you were okay.
Yeah.
That was a great ending.
I will admit.
Last minute ending there with Oak Grove and Oxford.
That's the thing. Okay, Annie, I came away from it going, man, I had so much fun doing those games. One with Eubanks, one with Will Kohlmeyer. It was fun to do those again, to watch them, to be a part of the broadcast again. But then it hit me, it probably helped that it was 2 down-to-the-wire last-second ball games.
Very interesting.
Yeah, because I will tell you, doing radio is one thing during a blowout. Television during a blowout, it's hard to do.
And you were so cold. I don't know if everybody knows how cold you always are. Yeah. I mean, he stays cold.
What does that say about a person if they're always cold?
I don't know. You're probably missing a vitamin, I guess.
Well, and
warm heart.
Well, that's it. I got one heart. And Annabeth,
there you go.
You're hot nature, so you get hot all the time.
I've been cold lately, though. It's cold outside. Something's hit me. I'm getting old.
Baby, it's cold outside.
How come you don't play any Christmas music?
Should I do that?
Yeah, it's Christmas.
Well, I've got my Santa hat. I'm going to wear the Santa hat on the show at some point here.
Well, I think you should wear it every day until Christmas. Don't you?
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I might put it on for the second hour then.
Did you tell everybody you watched the Nutcracker over the weekend?
I did, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. That's where I explained that's why I didn't get to really see any of the Saturday games, is because we were doing watching Mary Lady and the Nutcracker on Saturday night.
It was good.
Yeah.
She had fun. She was exhausted, though.
Well, how many performances was it? It was, 4?
She did 5.
5 over 2 days.
Because you count the dress rehearsals. Over 3 days. It was Thursday through Saturday. It's a big production.
I'll be honest with you. Okay, growing up, for whatever reason, I think I had heard of the Nutcracker. Every now and then you hear that song, the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy song.
Oh, yeah.
So you're sort of familiar with it. I had no earthly idea it was a ballet. I didn't know it was a show. Just no clue, not aware of any of it.
Now
really.
You're very educated.
Yeah, but apparently you grew up around it. You are
a
reading
little
the books.
bit. Yeah, I always loved the book. Yeah. I always loved it. It was fun.
Did y'all go watch things like performances of the Nutcracker?
There
when
was
you
a
were
different
kid?
studio in Vicksburg growing up that did the Nutcracker, so I didn't grow up dancing in the Nutcracker.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Mary Liddy has grown up around it and loves the book, and we saw it in New York, and
I love it now.
We usually go to Memphis, but they're not doing that this year.
I really enjoy watching it now.
I know.
It's
You always
like
you
watching...
always like to see how high the male dancers can jump. You're like, that's a sport in itself. They are so athletic and so talented.
They can jump.
Not knocking the girls. I'm just saying Matt always comments on, gosh, look how high he jumps. He's got a high jump of
it's incredible.
He turns everything into a sport.
These male, what do you call them? They're not ballerinas.
Well,
they're
I don't know. I don't have that technical term.
They of course they do the ballerina stance thing. It's not like football stance and then jump. That's
right.
We're not doing a vertical.
Right.
It's like they can. I don't know. Anyway, these guys, they get these giant calf muscles. They're like Chris Brooks, and they can flick their toes, and they are 5 feet in the air. It's incredible. This one guy, the first time that you ever took me, and this is 4 or 5 years ago, Mary Liddy was small, and you took us to see the Nutcracker in Memphis at the Orpheum.
At the Orpheum. We go every year and then go to the Peabody.
I miss it this year.
I'm really sad.
It's like going and watching a Christmas movie over again. This guy's like 6'4".
I mean, he was tall.
Ballerina.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. He did one thing where he started on one corner of that stage and ran in a dead sprint. I mean, you could hear him running across the Orpheum stage. Boom, 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 boom.
It was
boom,
really good.
A dead sprint. Then dove out in the air horizontally.
Yeah, he was good.
Just dove like he's flying through the air like Superman, full speed, and then just tucks and rolls and does a little soft little somersault and pop back up and flicks his ankles and pew, he's 5 feet in the air. It's athletic.
Did you ever take ballet as far as in college? Did they ever have guys? Well, I mean, I'm not meaning did you take it for fun, but a lot of times sports people will say the footwork, they'll have them take a class or two. That's not unheard of. That's why I'm asking you. I don't think I've ever asked you that.
No, I didn't. To improve flexibility or all that kind of stuff. But I will tell you that I would now, going back, watching those guys jump. Look, they can jump.
He could out jump just about any football player.
No question.
I mean,
that guy we saw yesterday, the Tupelo ballet,
he could catch a pass higher than anybody.
Well, there's no question he could dunk a basketball. No question.
Yeah, yeah, pretty athletic.
If he wanted to.
Pretty athletic.
Let's see if we have time for Thibodeau, who's on the Davini Equipment phone line. Thibodeau, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? I got a country policing thing for you.
Let me have it.
Go to the grocery store, get a jar of Alfredo sauce, cut up little discs of either andouille or original, put that in the Alfredo sauce after you brown it, and put that over fettuccine.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Very cheap.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Very cheap, very good meal.
So brown the sausage first, and then just mix it with the fettuccine and put it on pasta.
With the Alfredo sauce. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good
But
idea.
you definitely be sure any grease in the pan goes into the Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, make sure it goes in there. Yeah, I got you. That
Okay.
sounds, hey, thanks for
Queen.
thanks for the
That sounds awesome.
thanks for the recipe for the homecoming queen.
And it's got easy steps. That's the way I like to cook, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Easy.
Hey, look, with a name like
Thibodeau.
you're supposed to be able to know how to,
Yeah.
cook up some grub
Agree.
with a name like Thibodeau. All right, so HQ is here. We don't have the other camera ready for her to be on camera yet. That's coming in the future. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at your text messages from David and Teddy and Miko and Maroon and Grumpy and Denzel and Jason.
I didn't mean to
and
turn
everybody.
your show into the Nutcracker talk.
No, you just never know what
It's
direction we're
Christmas.
gonna
It's
go.
okay. That's all right to do.
Happy Nutcrackers.
There you go.
Stick around.
There's a game on the back that's lots of fun to do. All of the kids in the neighborhood say Tootsie Roll Pops are triple good. Triple good. You'll love Tootsie Roll Pops.
Hi, I'm Mike Wallace with a sensational shortening discovery for better baking and frying. It's Procter & Gamble's Golden Fluffo, the first all-new shortening in 40 years. It's rich. Its color is golden yellow, and what a pie it makes. Richer looking, better tasting, more appetizing. But let's hear what Mrs. Thelma Styra, Indiana State Fair baking champion, had to say about Fluffo.
I love Fluffo. It makes such a golden brown pie.
Oh, man, that's some apple pie.
Well, Mr. Wallace, that's a prettier pie than I ever baked with plain white shortening. And look how flaky it is. This yellow Fluffo is such a short shortening. Makes pie crust so rich.
Like cooking champions, get richer looking, better tasting, more appetizing results in everything you bake or fry. Get Golden Fluffo.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I've been accused of wearing a lot of hats in my career. And if you go to the Mississippi State University golf course, you can wear a lot of hats. A lot of the same hats I wear. Oh, that's nice. You know you like that. On Twitter, they are at Hail State GC. Or call them 325-3028. That's the Mississippi State University golf course. We wear a lot of hats. Hail State.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding. Whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite. The maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage. The best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage. Hands down, the best. Trust me.
The Zone.
All right, back with you, rolling along here on this Reaction Monday in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Across the great state of Mississippi, your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent.
Does that helmet still fit you?
My football helmet?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. Mm-hmm. Not really. Like when I put the helmet on, it squeezes my face in there. Like
he's got his helmet in his office up here, so I just wondered.
I can show it to the people in the live stream.
Yeah. Not on. I don't think you better try to squeeze it on.
No. Well, then my earbuds fell out, so now I can't hear anything. Annie, I tell you what, you sure do like for the segment to start, just walk in here and just go to improvising everything.
It's live.
So yeah, this is the helmet that I wore for State in '99. I think I just took it home at the end of the season.
Were you supposed to?
I don't know.
Well,
but that's it. They put my number on the back, and then we had the little NCAA sticker. There was another sticker on here that I noticed the other day. Oh, I noticed they put the year on the chin strap thing. 99. Put the year on it. Yeah, but I'm not gonna try it right now. But the other day I put this on for Mary Liddy. And I noticed how fat my face was. And that
it's not.
When I was playing, it used to just pop right on, you know.
Well, that was a while ago. It's okay. Whenever we have a tornado watch here in Tupelo, Mary Liddy puts it on in the shower.
That's right. She wears the State helmet in the shower. Hey, the tweet of the day so far, you know, we were talking about the Nutcracker thing.
Yeah.
The tweet of the day so far goes to Davy Jones, who tweeted us and said, all that tumbling, is that why they call it the Nutcracker?
Oh, gosh.
I love it.
That's good.
It's not that
I cringe
funny.
when you say it.
It's not that funny, but it's funny when you put that guy laughing at the end of it.
You love that. Turn it off. That's good.
You don't like it?
I do like it.
I can't get enough of it. It's like hearing Snoopy laugh on Charlie Brown. If I hear that, I can't help it. I laugh too.
I know.
There ain't no way to avoid it.
You can't not laugh with Snoopy.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through about the last 15 minutes or so worth of texts.
Wow.
That came in on the Country Pleasing text line. So we're going to backtrack in terms of content here just a little bit. But y'all feel free to text me because we're jumping in on the text line now. Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN. I ate Country Pleasing sausage, maple flavored sausage for breakfast.
It smells so good.
And then I made it again for lunch.
Yeah, you really did. I was like, what are you doing? I'm having it again. I'm having it for lunch.
Our favorite Alabama fan on the live stream, RLD Studio, says, "Roll Tide, y'all. Smiley face, go Tigers, ... not." And then a bunch of laughing emojis.
Well.
Hey, let's backtrack. We're going to get in our time machine here, RLD. Let's go back to Friday. You know, if LSU plays their best, they might be able to hang in there a little bit.
Wasn't it a given what was going to happen with that?
Yeah, everybody knew before they even got there.
Yeah.
Like, it's a foregone conclusion, the outcome. When Nick Saban is even basically saying before the game on live television interviews, we're fixing to show them what we're
done.
This is
drop the mic.
Hide the women and children.
Drop the mic.
We will score whatever we want to score.
1 million points.
Everybody's getting playing time on our side. That was basically Alabama's attitude going in there, and we all knew it too. So here's college football for you. Here's every other sport in America. The gap from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Every other sport in America. Here it is, right here.
Okay.
Here's college football.
Wow. Yeah.
It's just, and I don't know if they're not going to really do anything about it, but the TV partners are not having a good time right now. Now that the pandemic, but they know.
They know.
TV and in-stadium attendance is going to have an issue whenever this thing opens back up. Let's say here comes a vaccine and they're going to open it back up next fall. People are leaving and they're not coming back. So you're going to have to replace those fans. And maybe it takes you 3 years. Maybe it takes you 5 years.
Why do you think they're not coming back?
College football. It's got some issues. And one is there's a whole segment of society that has been spending their discretionary dollars for years and years, going to tailgate, buying the gas, getting a hotel room, getting a condo, go to the game, buy the tickets. We sit there, we buy the food, we pay for the parking. Then we stay another night. That's what we do with this money. This money that we spend is what we do. And this year, they were forced to experience spending it on, I don't know, a boat, going fishing, going camping.
Or maybe some of them didn't have that money due to the pandemic.
And all of a sudden, they're going, man, I'm just going to stay here. And so they got an issue going forward.
Okay. I believe you.
All right. Mailman David, Country Pleasing text line, 885-3776. David says, the Louisville game was great. Great ending. Louisville and Poplarville didn't Louisville do exactly what Oak Grove did, and that is score at the end of the game, go for two to win by a point?
That was the Saturday night?
That was Saturday, middle of the day.
Middle of the day.
I think they did the same thing, David. An update here in the Farm Bureau studio. Al, the dumpster kitty, has now come in here and jumped in the chair up there with Annabeth.
Yeah.
That's the biggest cat I've ever owned.
He's big.
He's huge.
Speaking of Alabama, he's Big Al.
We call him Big Al.
We call him Big Al.
The reason is we first named him Allie because we thought it was a girl.
And he came from an alley. And then we took him to the vet and he was a boy.
Like, you got a boy.
Well, we cut him down to Al.
We had a boy for a little while.
Yeah.
Now we just have an it. Okay. Teddy says, I grew up playing church basketball with Ben Ingram, small world. Yeah. He was on the radio call Friday for some of the games. Miko says, Matt, Ty Keys from Taylorsville recommitted from Tulane yesterday. Do you mean decommitted? I bet you mean decommitted. Remember we talked about this last week after Hall took the Southern Miss job. Yeah, that's right. That would make sense for him to go to Southern Miss, wouldn't it? Play for Will Hall there as opposed to having to go to Louisiana to do it. True Maroon says, I'm a State fan, but I'm excited to see what Coach Hall does at Southern Miss. Yeah, I'm pulling for him too. It's absolutely the right hire. There's never been a better fit, I don't think, than Southern Miss hiring him. The question is, how much success do they have quickly? If it's a lot, then people are going to be knocking on his door, and then you got to figure out how to keep him. Thing is, we were told this past weekend how Will Hall and his family are on something like their 12th different school in like 16 years of coaching or something.
That poor wife.
I know. So he may be wanting to, like, let's just stay here a little while.
Oh, my gosh.
Raise some youngins and all that. Grumpy says, Matt, interesting fact. Mississippi State football team was in San Francisco on December 7th, 1941. Playing a game on Saturday the 6th. Everyone thought the West Coast would be bombarded next. They got on the train on Sunday and headed back to Mississippi. How about that?
Really?
How about that?
Wow.
I did not know that. So took a train all the way from California back to Mississippi. But given what's going on, I'm sure they were glad to get on out of there.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. White Denzel says, Matt, your outfit choice calling the games this weekend looked like you were going to play a golf tournament in the 1930s.
Oh, probably your hat.
He says, I wish men would go back to that.
It's that hat that you wear.
I have, yeah, it's my favorite hat. One of them, it's around here somewhere. What do you call those?
I don't really know what that's called. I just know you like it because it keeps your head warm.
Yes. I have two of them for the winter, and I'm a bald guy.
I don't know what it's called.
I don't know what you call them either. But it's different than the ball cap because there's no open space in the back, right? So it completely covers my head, and it's super duper insulated wool and insulated and warm, but it's just got the little bill.
This says it's called a driving cap. Is that right?
Driving cap. Okay.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, you're right. It looks like the
driving cap.
It looks like something Bobby Jones would have worn at the Masters back in the 30s.
It's kind of old school.
It is, but let me tell you, they're great. And here's the reason, Denzel, I wear them primarily that I wear them to ball games. Okay, is if it's just about covering all my head up, I have these little dust, I don't know what you call them. They're like not a cowboy hat, but that style, but it has the flaps, the big brim around it, and it's a felt hat, and it's really warm. But you can't put a headset over those because of the brim going all the way around. So I need something really warm for my head that I can put the headset that'll fit over that I can wear without having to take it off. So that's it.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm into stuff that's functional. I don't really care what it looks like. I just want it to be
It's just
functional.
a good thing, though, that the golf course in Starkville hooks you up with good-looking things.
Yeah. Well, but it's all functional.
It is functional.
They give me long sleeve pullovers for cold weather.
That's right.
It's a bonus that it's got the Mississippi State baseball logo.
You
on.
love the baseball logo.
Look, let me just tell you this.
You love it.
Tim and Adam and the guys at the Mississippi State University Golf Course, I think they learned and heard early on how much I talk about the M over S logo. Because I said on the air, oh, it's my favorite logo. And if the university were just only concerned about branding one logo,
you'd push that one.
Well, that's it. That's the only choice, period. Now, they got other priorities and certain things. I get it. But this is the best logo. The other ones aren't even in the same ballpark as this one. There's a pun there. As soon as I said that stuff, like they sent me a hat with the logo, and they sent me this shirt. Baseball logo, Matt. Here you go.
That was nice. They're nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It was also nice of you, homecoming queen, to stop by and
just have a little chat.
Help me fill a little time.
Have a little chat about the Nutcracker.
Why do they call it the Nutcracker?
I'm done. I'm done.
All right, hour two.
What was that? The mic?
Yeah, that was Bill. Hour two coming up.
Ranco Transmission in Flowood reminds listeners, drive.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor, you see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best, trust me. Hey, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. If you head with me over to cspire.com, over to their website, this is something you can do. And I noticed this today before I went and logged in. I was going to pay my bill, and it says at the top, deals you can believe in. You click that shop deals, and it takes you over here to a couple of things that you need to know about here for the holiday season. First of all, they're doing a trade-in right now. So like I can take my old iPhone 8 Plus and trade this in for an iPhone 12. The other thing is, I wanted to show you this. First of all, I love the ad with the bull and the Santa hat, but the no bull deal, you probably heard about that on our show. No gotchas and hidden in the fine print in the bill, no most expensive plan requirements, no waiting 3 months to get your promo credit, no having to, bring a phone number with you, all that kind of stuff. I can tell you from experience, I go here, my bill's the same every month. There's not a lot of hidden stuff. My cost doesn't go up. Once I'm in. I know what it costs every month. You get all of that stuff. And I just wanted to make you aware. Just go to cspire.com. You can see all of it. Merry Christmas.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
You hear me say Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson a lot on the radio show. Highway 51 in Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson. And yeah, it's tractors, okay? Kubota tractors, they have New Holland tractors, big equipment, skid steers, ATVs, all that. But you need to know this time of year, if you're a deer hunter, if you know a deer hunter in the area, anywhere around Madison and Jackson, Davini has everything, okay? I'm not talking about just, feeders and all the stuff that goes with that, but tree stands, climbing stands, chairs, camo this, camo that, boots, accessories, everything for the hunter. Davini Equipment, Highway 51 Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I've been accused of wearing a lot of hats in my career. And if you go to the Mississippi State University golf course, you can wear a lot of hats, a lot of the same hats I wear. Oh, that's nice. You like that. On Twitter, they are at Hail State GC, or call them 325-3028. That's the Mississippi State University golf course. We wear a lot of hats. Hail State.
online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
And just like that, it's hour number 2. That didn't take long, did it? Where'd the first hour go? Thanks for tuning in. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. Farm Bureau Insurance here in the state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes are your local Farm Bureau insurance agents, because if you need them, you got them. You get to know your agent one-on-one. Personally, you probably already know them. You give them a chance, and then you've got somebody that, you know, the probably the biggest thing that they are sticklers for in regards to how they handle business with customers is making sure they are available 24/7. You need me, you call me, you text me, knock on my door. Heck, you probably know where he lives. I mean, they're all right there in the same town as you. So that's Farm Bureau Insurance for you. Check them out. Pour in the mug full of High Point Roasters coffee from New Albany, Mississippi. It's local too, sort of. Came via local. Like they go way somewhere and get the beans and then bring them back and roast them right there at High Point Roasters in New Albany. So the coffee mug is full and our plate is full. There's plenty to get into with you here on the show. So call me, text me, comment on the live stream. Happy to get into whatever y'all want to get into. What's up to Sven tuning in over in Germany on the live stream? He says Florida has a 20% chance. For me, he says, to upset Bama. He's giving them a 20% chance. Is that a good chance? Put it this way, Sven, like if somebody tells me, Matt, there's a 20% chance of rain, do I take an umbrella? No. It better be about 50% for me to consider taking the umbrella. That's kind of the way I look at it. And more of your texts coming up. I'm going to get to those. 885 ESPN, or if you need the number, 885-3776. That's the country pleasing text line. First, though, to start us off in hour 2 is the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and Jackson, your Kubota dealer. Davini phone is 995-1059. Jake, hanging on. What's up, Jake?
Hey, what's up, Professor? What's going on, brother?
What's up? Hope you had a good weekend.
Man, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I went to a car show. It was nice, beautiful. On a Saturday, it's nice. It wasn't steaming hot. A car show in the wintertime. I love it. This Spain guy from Germany, do they even, have their percentages like we do over here on 20% chances? Because I think it's probably backwards over there in Germany.
You think so?
20% might be. Yeah, I think so, because I don't think he knows what he's talking about. Because I think we got a 60% chance. That's probably what he meant.
How much?
But 60%.
50?
That's what I think.
You give Florida a 50% chance, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because, because it's not going to be a home game. It's going to be in the ATL.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to bring their fans, but we're going to bring ours too. So, so we're going to bring it.
Hey, Jake, you bring up an interesting point, though, real quick about the fans. I just thought I'd mention this, and then I'll give you back the mic. But some people who are covering Florida, I was going to try to pull this up so that I could get it exactly right here, but I can't. I'll just paraphrase it. But the numbers were going to be about that they're going to allow in the Georgia Dome for the title game is about 9,000 for each school. I think it was just a hair under, just slightly under 18,000 people max that they're going to allow in there. So, each fan base is going to have roughly 9,000 people in there. And they were saying that the tickets are really hard to come by, obviously. But it's going to be odd. I mean, it'll still have noise. It's just not going to be an unbearable atmosphere like it has been in the past.
Exactly. Alabama, well, Nick Saban, he's going to bring it to him anyway. I mean, Nick Saban, when he comes prepared.
Yeah.
And that's what makes his stuff so successful. He comes prepared. Yeah. And he can make adjustments during the game.
Right.
But our coach can do the same thing, He can do the same thing also. But another point, this Tyson Hill guy, I watched a lot of football. I watched all the Marinos from Pitt. I watched Elway from Stanford. I watched all the great quarterbacks. This Tyson Hill guy, I know he came out of BYU. He was undrafted, and that really shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
That really shocked me.
You know, I think it was just because you were talking about Taysom Hill out of BYU, the Saints quarterback, and I think it's just because nobody knew how they were going to use him. You know, at BYU he was a dual threat quarterback, zone read guy. He'd run it a lot. He was like a Nick Fitzgerald kind of player, you know. But then he goes to the combine and he ran a legitimate 4.40 on the laser. So they were like, the guy's fast enough. Somebody's going to give him a shot at something. And so because of the style he played in college, I think that's what kept him from being drafted as a quarterback.
Wow. Because I'm watching this guy throw this ball, and it's a perfect spiral. It is perfect. And he throws it to a person only the receiver can get that the receiver can get to it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this guy and say, wow. I'm like, Coach, how come you not put this guy in earlier? You know.
Well, it's kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to when you know the other guy's Drew Brees. You know, I mean, it took Drew Brees getting like his entire rib cage crushed to get him off the field. You know, so it's kind of hard to. But I agree with you. He's fantastic. And he's, you know, guys like that are fun to watch because they are unique. They're not like everybody else. You know, so. It's like automatic ratings when they are good. Same thing for Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. You know, he's this unbelievable fast athlete. So if he starts having a little success, the NFL ratings just go through the roof.
Okay. Well, that's all I got to say, man.
Appreciate it.
Florida, we're going to 38-42, Florida.
Wow.
Thanks, sir.
All right. He's picking Florida. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate the call, man. Did he just say that Florida's going to put up 42 and hold Bama to 30-something? I think he did. The numbers I was looking for. This is from David Waters. He has the Gators Breakdown podcast. David's a really nice guy. He does an excellent job. He is as deep in the Florida Gators coverage as anybody out there. The SEC Championship going to be a tough ticket to get. He says Mercedes-Benz Stadium is only letting 25% capacity go in there. So 17,500 tickets, just under 9,000 each for each school, splitting it down the middle. And so the ones who are there are really going to have to make some noise for it to be loud. One more phone call, and then I'm coming over here to the Country Pleasing text line. It says that I have Charlie from the Island of Misfit Toys on hold. Charlie, hello.
Hi, how are you doing, Matt?
As far as I know, I'm okay, Charlie. This is your time of year, right?
Yes, it's my time of year. It's the time when Santa Claus comes to the Island of Misfit Toys. I'm a Charlie in the box, but nobody wants a Charlie in the box, especially if they were in the Vietnam War.
Oh, no.
And I just wanted to tell everyone, to remind everyone out there to donate to Toys for Tots. It's a really great cause, and it gets some unfortunate kids the misfit toys to make everybody happy.
That's a great cause. That is. Yeah, Toys for Tots. That's a great reminder. Charlie in the box. Nobody wants a Charlie in the box.
No, they don't. Ooh.
Before I let you go, Charlie, give me a prediction for Alabama versus Florida.
Well, I gotta tell you, Mac Jones looks really good. But ooh, Florida, Kyle Trask looks phenomenal. And Kyle Pitts is just amazing. But I think Mac Jones and Devontae Smith are going to pull through for Alabama.
Okay, we got Alabama. Official from Charlie and the Island of Misfit Toys. Charlie, thanks for the call. Stay warm. What do you say? Nobody wants to... Nobody wants a Charlie in the box, especially if they went through the Vietnam War. Wow. He sounded a lot like that guy who got to laughing and floated up to the ceiling in Mary Poppins. Sound like the same guy. Thanks for the call. Predictions, Alabama, Florida. Sven says 52-21 Alabama. Steve says that Jake said 42-38. That's what I was thinking that I heard. Jasper on the live stream says Bama 49, Florida 34. Everybody's picking high-scoring games. Is there a chance that with time to prepare, not a lot of time, is there a chance it's a lower-scoring game at all? Or do those two offenses just light each other up the way that they've been lighting everybody else up? Here's a question. Here's kind of what it's a twofold question for each offense. Okay, so which of these is the most true? Okay. Does Florida have anyone that can cover Devontae Smith? Does Alabama have anyone that can cover Kyle Pitts? All right, think about those. Then, based on those answers, can Florida give Kyle Trask time to complete the ball the way they have against other teams to Kyle Pitts? Is Alabama able, against Florida, to give Mac Jones time to work in the pocket and hit Devontae Smith down the field? See, I just feel like on both of those all those counts, I feel like Alabama is a little bit of a safer bet than Florida. Two really good teams. Absolutely the two best teams in the SEC. There's no question. The two teams that are going to Atlanta are the two that deserve to be there. I still think there's a gap, though, Bama and Florida. And most of the picks are that it's going to be a high-scoring game. Sven says, I don't care who wins, but Bama's a way better team. Sven says Florida has no secondary and Smith will light them up because they got to stack the box to defend Najee Harris. Bama has elite corners. They move Pitts all over the place, match them up against everybody. They're great at that. You got a player like that, though sometimes the matchups don't even really matter. Walt on the Country Please in text line, 885-ESPN, 885-3776, is predicting Alabama 37, Florida 20. So it'll be about a 17-point win. See, Walt, that's one of the lower scoring predictions that I've seen for that game right now. I mean, pretty much everything I've seen has Bama in the 40s, 50s, and has Florida in the 30s and 40s. You know, kind of trading punches and all that kind of stuff. The name of the hat that I wore, people are saying, Fred said it's a TAM, T-A-M, TAM. White Denzel says it's a scally cap. He's making stuff up. Are y'all making stuff up? Honestly. Just seeing if you can be the start of something. Yeah, Mailman David, he's talking about the Louisville versus Poplarville game on Saturday. I was keeping up with that score. I didn't get to see it. And he said Louisville came back and then went for 2 and won it. So isn't that crazy? I mean, you had the night before. What about Oak Grove's coaching staff decision right there? Did you agree with it at the time? You play in Oxford, lost to him last year. You don't want overtime against them? I guess not. Because score and we're going for 2 with 7 seconds left. It's all or nothing. One thing I said on the broadcast, and several people pointed it out, it just kind of came out, but what I said was marbles for all the marbles. I'm in it. Unnamed texter says, Matt, speaking of high school football, did you ever play for Coach Glenn Register at Prattville? I worked for him for years after he retired from coaching, one of the finest men I've ever met. Yeah, I sure did. I sure did play for Coach Register. He was an assistant coach on the high school teams that I was on and had been for a long time. To who or whomever you are, I'd be curious to know what Coach Register did after he retired from coaching. I'd love to know what his what the business was, what he got into. And we connected on Facebook a while back, but it's not like we talk or anything. We just kind of connected on Facebook. Somebody asked me, what about Trask's quick kick punt, pooch punt? Did you see it? I did not see it. Good, bad, effective? Just know this. Any pooch kick, whether it's quarterback out near midfield or whatever, the objective of the pooch kick, the quick kick, is to pin the other team inside the 10-yard line. That's the objective. If we don't get it inside the 10, we sort of came up short of what we're trying to do. If it kicks in the end zone, bad. Did we kill it inside the 10? That's what you're trying to do right there. Jason in Flagstaff says, by the way, y'all, he calls them Alabama on all of his text messages. I just don't like saying Alabama, so I always edit it. Jason in Flagstaff says, I think Alabama wins, but I would not be shocked if Florida won. He has scared the out of Saban before with a lot less talent to work with. 17-14, he's done it twice. Did it in 2014. It was 25-20 Alabama in Tuscaloosa. But there was a late score that made it 25-20. And then 2017, Jason, is really the only time Mullen, with less talent, managed to scare the out of Alabama, as you say. And that was the Grantham third down. They gave up the slant to Jalen Hurts that they took to the house. And then, of course, the couple of the non-calls early in the game on receivers out of bounds who came back in, but all that's water under the bridge. Bates is going with Florida 41, Alabama 38. So you're just going with basically Florida to outscore them. You know, what a departure from like the early SEC title games. I know like the second one, Florida put up a bunch of points, kind of blew Alabama out. The third one was a 1-point game, but it was in the 20s. 41-38, man. All right. I'll take a shootout. Be fun to watch. I just think Alabama beats them. They both have talent. Alabama's just got so much more of it. First time through this ringer for Florida and Mullen. The umpteenth time through it for Alabama. I think Alabama's a machine. Nobody's going to stop them. So I think, really for Florida, it's about going and scoring some points and being competitive in the game, but you're not beating them. Fred sent me a picture. Okay, they are called TAM hats, T-A-M. Yeah, that's sort of what it is. TAM. What's that? T-A-M. It's got to be short for something. Acronym. Rebel Rex is taking Alabama 38-35 over Florida, a little bit lower scoring than some of the other predictions and a closer ball game. I could see that. Lower scoring. Like, I could definitely see that. If I were to predict it, lower scoring, you could definitely see something in the neighborhood like Bama 38, Florida 20. But you're still talking about better than a 2-touchdown difference. Okay, so Trask pinned him inside the 10. I didn't know. He's good. He's good. Bates says, Mr. Wyatt, it's been a while, but all this SEC championship talk deserves some sonic boom of the South. Well, I'll say this, Bates. The only problem with my reading of your text right there is that I didn't proofread it ahead of time and go ahead and ready to hit the button initially. Hey, and being at Veterans Memorial Stadium on Saturday was pretty cool. I'm sorry, I was there on Friday for the state championships, and I know the field got torn up, but it was really neat to be there and you just kind of look around at that old venue and all those 60,000 seats, and you think about the sonic boom and the fact of now you're going to have Coach Prime walking around the sidelines. And I thought, man, I would love to be here for a Jackson State game. Like maybe that first home game when good and well there's going to be a bunch of people there. I would love to see it. I really would. And look, I'm not saying they did the wrong thing taking the championships to the college campuses at all. I'm just saying that being there on Friday with all those teams from all over the state converging on Jackson, it just sort of felt, and maybe I'm biased, but it just sort of felt right. It just kind of felt, yeah, this is the way it ought to be. They probably ought to be playing here. Honestly, it felt that way. Thanks for the request, Bates. Needed that. Needed it. JM on the Country Please and text. The number to text is 885-3776. Better known as 885-ESPN. Text away. JM says, Matt, if you call it a wash in the pass game, this is Alabama, Florida. Alabama has a better defense and a lot better running game. Florida can't shut everything down. Alabama 42, Florida 26. Well, let me tell you something, though. All this talk about Devontae Smith and Mac Jones. Given Florida defensively, they want to try to make you one-dimensional. If Alabama feels like they can go in there and control the clock and just beat them up with Najee Harris in this game, don't you think they'll do that? They will. That's what I'm telling you. I think because of that, you're looking at about 34-38-20. That's what I think. Big plays late in the game after they bludgeoned you with their running back. Stick around. Trust me on this, you will sleep better on a mattress from Nest and Wild. It's 100% American made. From top to bottom, all the way to the floor. It's a great Mississippi company. It's right here at home. I know the people. Every mattress they make is 12 inches thick. And if you order it, it'll show up in your doorstep in 5 days. So if you're like me and sometimes you procrastinate on Christmas gifts, you can wait right up until the last minute. All right, I'm not suggesting that, but you could do it. And if you use Bully20, BULLY20, you also get a free pillow top mattress cover to go with it. So it's a great deal. Use that code. Go to nestandwild.com, order your mattress, get it here in time for Christmas. Winsipedia.com. Winsipedia.com. Wins, the letter I, pedia.com. Winsipedia.com. If you're a football fan, if you keep up with games, you have a favorite team who's playing somebody new this weekend, certainly if you're a person that's in media, like me, you're in radio or maybe you write, this is an incredible website that's a resource for any historical matchup. You can compare any two teams, just put them in there, no matter who they are in Division I football. It'll give you the entire series history. It'll give it to you visually in a graph. You can click on individual matchups. You can look at the whole list. You can even get information, historical information on just one team, but Winsipedia, it's a great historical matchup resource for college football. Check it out.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, let me tell you a little bit about C-Spire. If you head with me over to cspire.com, over to their website, this is something you can do. And I noticed this today before I went and logged in. I was going to pay my bill. And it says at the top, deals you can believe in. You click that shop deals, and it takes you over here to a couple of things that you need to know about here for the holiday season. First of all, they're doing a trade-in right now. So like I can take my old iPhone 8 Plus and trade this in for an iPhone 12. The other thing is, I wanted to show you this. First of all, I love the ad with the bull and the Santa hat, but the no bull deal, you probably heard about that on our show. No gotchas and hidden in the fine print in the bill. no most expensive plan requirements, no waiting 3 months to get your promo credit, no having to, bring a phone number with you, all that kind of stuff. I can tell you from experience, I go here, my bill's the same every month. There's not a lot of hidden stuff. My cost doesn't go up. Once I'm in. I know what it costs every month. You get all of that stuff. And I just wanted to make you aware. Just go to cspire.com. You can see all of it. Merry Christmas.
And on your radio at ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
All right, back with y'all. All y'all. Out here on the Country Pleasing text line, as well as on the Davini phone. Thanks for the phone calls and whatnot and so on and so forth, including Charlie from the island of Misfit Toys. Everybody's seen that. Those Christmas stop motion, claymation, whatever they were. They always kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies, I'll be honest with you. I didn't like those too much. I like Charlie Brown stuff, 'cause that's real cartoons. Little Misfit Toys deal, I ain't too sure about all that. I don't like it. I'll just say it. I don't like it. And then also on the live stream, hey to y'all, everybody on the live stream. Curious, do you guys notice any difference in the quality of the live stream? If it's still good, audio still good, do you notice any difference in the look? We switched a lot of things up on the live stream that goes out to several different platforms. If you're watching this, it could be YouTube or Facebook or Twitter Periscope or whatever. But using a different software, which and had to get a little bit more equipment, and so got real cameras in here. It's not complete. Annabeth was here earlier. Homecoming Queen was on the show, but got a setup now where we're going to be able to go split screen or dual camera, put her on camera when she comes in and is willing to do it, get the lights all set up for her in here like a real studio. She was here today. She did not want to be on camera. So anyway, new stuff. And you give me the all thumbs up. Sven said it's fine. So it's fine. That's great. Let's see what they said here on the Country Pleasing text line. Unnamed texter. No, this is Pig Fan. This is Pig Fan. We got to put him in here as Pig Fan. I'll change that in a little bit. You'll from now on be Pig Fan. He says Bama 34, Gators 20. He says also, do you think Ole Miss and Arkansas have the right coaches to become relevant again in the SEC West? That's from Pig Fan. Yeah, I mean, it certainly appears that way right now. And it's interesting. We're this far into the show. We see where South Carolina has hired a new coach, Shane Beamer, former Mississippi State assistant, but obviously son of a great coach there at Virginia Tech all those years. Anyway, back to your question. Yeah, I mean, I think it appears that way right now. So if we take them one at a time, you look at Arkansas, and from a distance, here are the things that jump out at me, Pig Fan, is one, the difference in how hard those players play on this Arkansas team for this coach and this staff versus the last one. And this is not going to be, let's go pick on Chad Morris deal. Man, we had way too much of that for 2-3 years till we're all sick of it. That's water under the bridge. But how hard this team plays. And I know they're sitting there after this Missouri loss at 3-6, but it's a different looking 3-6. Can we agree on that? And that's okay. That's okay this year in a 10-game season, pandemic season. None of these new coaches had spring practice, and all this, they're all behind it. And just how hard they came in here playing. That in spite of all that, they're having fun. It's a totally different 3-6 than what we, might have seen from a couple of these other teams in the past. And I saw them in person last year in Fayetteville at the end of the year when I'll put it this way. We were in Fayetteville at the end of the Brett Bielema run when the team was just kind of out there. And they still played a little hard, but kind of whatever. Last year out there, that Arkansas team, I don't even know why they ran out there because none of them had any interest whatsoever in playing that ball game against State. They just quit. You come into this year, they play so hard. They are so well coached. And the smartest thing that Sam Pittman did was surround himself with those good coaches. Barry Odom, huge hire. Just incredible, what they've been able to do on that side of the ball. Playing hard. So all the right ingredients to build on, which is first-year coach, given the scenario you're in, just kind of let's look past the record right now, playing a first-year transfer quarterback. All these guys who weren't playing hard are playing their tails off for him and look to be really bought in and having fun. KJ Jefferson gives you a glimpse of the future, all this kind of stuff. They can build off of that, regardless of how this finishes or what their record is. This is not a what's your record year for these first-year coaches in the SEC. So then you go to Ole Miss. Absolutely. I said it when he was hired, that Kiffin, there was some, you're kind of reading it, and there was something about him that it's like, it seems like it's the right time in both of their lives for Kiffin and Ole Miss to get together, right? You didn't want Kiffin 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. That would not have been the time to hire him. But after the Tennessee thing and the Alabama thing and then the head coach thing and just growing up and maturing a little bit, and now he's ready to just come in here and be a football coach. He's sort of into Twitter, but it's okay. It's just Kiffin, it's not a big deal. He just really wants to coach football and be successful. And I think at this point in his career, too, it's not about the next job. One thing you can say about Kiffin is throughout his career, it's always been about what's the next job? What's the next job? What's the next job? I'm at the Raiders. What's the next job? I'm at USC. What's the next job? Tennessee, next job. Back to USC. All this stuff. And you get the feeling now, he's at an age where he's probably got a totally different perspective than he had 10 years ago. And he's like, okay, it's a good place to live. Resources, fan base, booster base, certainly invested in this program. Let's just stay here and see what we can do. Have a little fun, It's good to be the underdog sometimes. So, and then you look at the team. Okay, he goes in there in year one, was able to keep it all together. Just like all the other first-year coaches. Kiffin doesn't have a spring. He doesn't have the off-season deal. He's got all these guys coming back that have played football for the previous coach, but they weren't really good. He's got all these, if he could just keep them together, he's got an advantage. Well, they didn't have a bunch of opt-outs and a bunch of quits and walk-offs, walkaways, and that kind of thing. And I'm hurt, but I'm not hurt. They didn't have a bunch of that. He had an atmosphere of, competitiveness. He's playing the right people. If you did well in practice, you get ready to play in the game. There's no playing favorites. It didn't hurt at all that he's able to have the continuity with Matt Corral at quarterback, and that really helps. They just had all the right, atmosphere on that offense. So, and playing hard. So, yes, I would answer those questions saying those two specifically that you ask about, they just look to me to be the right fits at those places for now. Now, long-term tells you everything. And year to year, can guys manage their roster? That's the hard part in a lot of places, especially places who are, in front of a fan base that is really concerned with recruiting. Then what becomes difficult for a head coach at that school is to manage the roster at every position to win games, even if you've got to make some decisions that hurt your recruiting ranking on signing day. Does that make sense at all? Let me give you an example. There's a very, you could think about Ole Miss in the past. In the past, those Ole Miss teams that were really good under Hugh Freeze, one thing that held them back is they'd have one or two positions on defense where they had nobody. They had no depth. They hadn't been signing linebackers. And maybe there were too many other scholarships allotted to other positions that, yeah, I mean, they were good players, but the roster wasn't spread out evenly so that you would get into these seasons and have all the depth you've got to have at every position to be able to compete. Well, we can go score, but, well, we can't stop anybody from running the ball. Does that sound familiar? Well, that's not going to last. So that'll be one challenge for all of them. And the long term will be the story there on that kind of stuff. All right, here we go. Country Pleasing text line, 885 ESPN or 885-3776. Diffie, good to hear from you. He says he downed it at the 4-yard line. Effective and caught him off guard. I love a good quick kick. True Maroon says, Mullen chokes in big games. Bama 42, Florida 28. It has happened before. Nick Saban has been outcoached before. It just is not very often. What, once, twice in 10 years? Clemson in the national title game, they outcoached them. Ain't no doubt. Swinney and Venables, they outcoached them. They were a step ahead in everything. They baited Tua into some throws he hadn't done all year long. They were ready. But you don't see that much. Rebel Godfather says, I laughed when they hired Pittman. He appears to be a really good hire. Rebel Godfather, I'm so glad you said it that way because I want y'all to think about something. Here's a conversation we could have. We're starting to see the coaching carousel turn. Guy with no head coach experience has just been hired at South Carolina. Every year there's 4 or 5 really just hot, on fire, up-and-coming names. This guy has won 45 games and lost 7 at Cincinnati. And this guy over here at this group of 5 school is just a can't miss. And this guy is kicking everybody's tail at Houston. How many of those have gone on, landed that big job, and been as good as they were before? I think the answer is very, very few of them have. It's a lot longer list of the ones who got the big payday and kicked back, started getting their tail whipped. Think about that. Stick around.
There's a game on the back that's lots of fun to do. All of the kids in the neighborhood say Tootsie Roll Pops are triple good, triple good. You'll love Tootsie Roll Pops.
Hi, I'm Mike Wallace with a sensational shortening discovery for better baking and frying. It's Procter & Gamble's Golden Fluffo, the first all-new shortening in 40 years. It's rich. Its color is golden yellow, and what a pie it makes. Richer looking, better tasting, more appetizing. But let's hear what Mrs. Thelma Styra, Indiana State Fair baking champion, had to say about Fluffo.
I love Fluffo. It makes such a golden brown pie.
Oh, man, that's some apple pie.
Well, Mr. Wallace, that's a prettier pie than I ever baked with plain white shortening. And look how flaky it is. This yellow Fluffo is such a short shortening. Makes pie crust so rich.
Like cooking champions, get richer looking, better tasting, more appetizing results in everything you bake or fry. Get Golden Fluffo.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
You know, I've been accused of wearing a lot of hats in my career. And if you go to the Mississippi State University golf course, you can wear a lot of hats, a lot of the same hats I wear. Oh, that's nice. You know you like that. On Twitter, they are at HailStateGC, or call them 325-3028. That's the Mississippi State University golf course. We wear a lot of hats. Hail State.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me.
Wyatt Show. Nobody breaks down quarterback play better than him. And he's right here, right now, online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back rolling along here on this Reaction Monday. Even though around here in the state of Mississippi, State and Ole Miss didn't play this past weekend, there's still plenty to react to, including the high school state championships, which were just so much fun. I couldn't be there for all of them. Would have loved to have been at Veterans Memorial Stadium for every single one of those, Friday and Saturday. Got to go to two games on Friday. The 3 o'clock game, which is 1A. Great game in the 1A state title between Lumberton and Biggersville. Incredible game that night for the 6A, Oak Grove versus Oxford in a rematch of last year's game, and a bunch of others too. So hats off to the champions, and to those that came up short. Take a look at some of those who won. Take a look at Lumberton. Take a look at Oak Grove. They were right where, if you came up short this year, those two teams were right where you were last year. Played for a state championship and lost. But it certainly didn't define them, did it? They went to work immediately, worked a little harder, a little better, came back better, won it the next year. So it's one of the great things about sports, but certainly high school sports. All right, let me see where I want to start right here. Lots of reaction to some of the stuff I said. There was a great question, and I wish I knew who to credit. I think it was Pig Fan. Was it Pig Fan who texted that? Yeah, Pig Fan. We'll put you in there. Who was asking, about the job these first-year coaches at Arkansas and Ole Miss have done. And they've done a really good job. And I think in certain respects, you look at Missouri, first-year coach up there. That's a 5-win team at Missouri. Of course, you're playing in the East, so the games are a little different. But the schedules, by and large, were kind of uneven, right? I mean, the fact is, for a couple of first-year coaches at Missouri and Arkansas, we looked at their schedule and thought they were getting the short end of the stick. Well, one of them has shown great improvement. Arkansas sitting here at 3-6, but definitely should have a 4th win because they beat Auburn. The officials just fouled it up. And then you look at Missouri, and Missouri sitting there with 5 wins. Just beat Arkansas this past week. That was a great game. That was a heck of a finish. Let me say something about that also. And this is This was a negative for Arkansas. Arkansas, don't go the route that some of these other teams did a few years ago, and then the league kind of cleaned it up. And have all these people that have credentials, fans and boosters and alumni and former players and that are all strung out down your sideline. I saw that during the game. No official who's calling a catch, no catch, the 10-yard line, should step off the field a foot and have an Arkansas credentialed hanger-on alumni right there in the sideline yelling at him about the call he's making. Officials should not have to put up with that. They got to clean up the sidelines. So there. I said my piece. All right, here we go. Country Please and text line. Yeah, back to what you said. You said, I laughed when they hired Pittman. He appears to be a really good hire. Listen, there's winning the press conference when you make a hire. And people prioritize that. How often does winning the press conference really pay off? The idea out there in fan world, but also among athletics directors, a lot of them has been, if you win the press conference, it's going to immediately help you in recruiting and immediately help you sell tickets. But does it? Does it ever really manifest in that way? Because ultimately, if the hire doesn't work, what good is any of that? Okay, and Pittman wouldn't be the first. Listen, I'm just going to say it. I don't think the way to go is, number one option, to go out here and circle the hot name who's won 11 games this year at one of the group of 5 schools in the Sun Belt or in the MAC or somewhere. And he's obviously doing that there, so he must be a great coach. So let's pay him $5 million and bring him on up here. Things are different. That's not what you want. It seems to me the more money you're paying somebody and the bigger the job, the more motivated they better be. And you take a guy like Shane Beamer, who's been everywhere, done that, been there, getting that first head coaching job at South Carolina. If Shane Beamer wants to be a long-term head coach, this has to work out. He has no other option for this to work out. However, you give me an example like a Tom Herman. He's at Houston, hot name. Look at what he's doing at Houston. He must be great. Boy, he'd kill it at Texas. Why not? Could be a lot like these professional athletes. When they're young and hungry and don't have the fame and, more importantly, the fortune, they're young and driven and don't have the massive contract, and then all of a sudden you give them the massive contract. And what are they from then on? Ain't worth a flip. They sure cashed in on what they did when they were hungry. Find somebody who's going to be hungry. Find somebody who's going to approach the job like it's life and death. Simply, they cannot fail. Sven, Scott Frost from UCF to Nebraska. And I think he's a great coach. I like Scott Frost. But the idea that he's just going to go to Nebraska and replicate what he did at UCF, we're crazy. And more often than not, it doesn't work out. What does work out? The retreads don't work out any more often than giving a guy a job for the first time. You better just hire the right coach, and you better forget and block out anything about winning a press conference. Just block it out. It doesn't manifest into anything. Block it out. Win the press conference. Who cares? Block out anything about whether or not he's been a dadgum head coach or not. Joe Judge, New York Giants, doing a phenomenal job by all accounts. Even ran some of his own coaches off when they weren't up to snuff. Just went and beat Seattle. Never been a head coach. Been a special teams coach for Bill Belichick. Better block out all the noise and hire the best coach you can hire for your situation. Well, it may not go too well in year one. So what? What are you trying to do? You trying to hire somebody that's going to come in here and, win a few games for you in year one? Or are you trying to hire somebody who's going to build something long term? Kind of person who not only can recruit, but get the guys he has to play hard. What about that mix? You can go hire a lot of guys who can recruit, but if that's all it's going to be, 5 years from now, you're doing this again. I sound like I have it all figured out, don't I? All right, here we go. Let's rattle through them right here. JM on the text line, Matt. Eddie O said they tried to double Devontae with supposedly the best shutdown corner in Stingley, and Devontae could have gone for 300 if Nick wanted to. I hope Florida uses that same coverage. You can't look, it is so simple they are so good at Alabama that it is really simple on defense. Listen, if you play man-to-man, back up, stop. Here's a better way. You can't play man-to-man the entire game against Alabama. You can't do it. Who can't? Nobody. You collectively can't play man-to-man against Alabama for majority of the game. Therefore, you must pressure the quarterback. When you go man, when you think about going man, you better pressure him. But even in zone, you better pressure that quarterback because otherwise you're not covering them. It's all about pressure. Jonathan says it ain't about the next job until Texas calls. Says Hail State. They say money talks. For some people it does. For the smart ones it doesn't. Resdog says tweeting out Mary Flipmas seems pretty immature to me. Yeah, but Resdog, look, in 2020, what is Twitter? Twitter is anything that goes out on Twitter is for either one of two things. One, it's for a certain portion of that coach's fan base. His fan base, period. Or it's for people he might recruit. That's it. That's all it's for. That's all it is. It's just Twitter. Twitter's a big deal. Well, maybe not. That was loud. Joey says, when God made people, he didn't make them any finer than Brian Eubank. I agree with that. Great guy. He's a good one. He's a good one for sure. About the games this weekend. So Alabama, Arkansas, and somebody said Arkansas might score 7 against Alabama. I got a thought on that. Let's look ahead to some of the games we come back in hour 3. If you leave us here, I hope you have a great one and we'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, stick around. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding, whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best hands down. If you go to countrypleasin.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country Pleasin' sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Hey, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. If you head with me over to cspire.com, over to their website, this is something you can do. And I noticed this today before I went and logged in. I was going to pay my bill, and it says at the top, deals you can believe in. You click that shop deals, and it takes you over here to a couple of things that you need to know about here for the holiday season. First of all, they're doing a trade-in right now. So like I can take my old iPhone 8 Plus and trade this in for an iPhone 12. The other thing is, I wanted to show you this. First of all, I love the ad with the bull and the Santa hat, but the no bull deal, you probably heard about that on our show. No gotchas and hidden in the fine print in the bill, no most expensive plan requirements, no waiting 3 months to get your promo credit, no having to, bring a phone number with you, all that kind of stuff. I can tell you from experience, I go here, my bill's the same every month. There's not a lot of hidden stuff. My cost doesn't go up. Once I'm in. I know what it costs every month. You get all of that stuff. And I just wanted to make you aware. Just go to cspire.com. You can see all of it. Merry Christmas.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
You hear me say Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson a lot on the radio show. Highway 51 in Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson. And yeah, it's tractors, okay? Kubota tractors, they have New Holland tractors, big equipment, skid steers, ATVs, all that. But you need to know this time of year, if you're a deer hunter, if you know a deer hunter in the area, anywhere around Madison and Jackson, Davini has everything, okay? I'm not talking about just, feeders and all the stuff that goes with that, but tree stands, climbing stands, chairs, camo this, camo that, boots, accessories, everything for the hunter. Davini Equipment, Highway 51 Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I've been accused of wearing a lot of hats in my career. And if you go to the Mississippi State University golf course, you can wear a lot of hats, a lot of the same hats I wear. Oh, that's nice. You like that. On Twitter, they are at Hail State GC, or call them 325-3028. That's the Mississippi State University golf course. We wear a lot of hats. Hail State.
Matt Wyatt Show. Talking about sports from around the world and right here at home. Streaming to you at thezone1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
Yo! Thought I'd take a seat for the third hour here, hour 3 of the show. Welcome in. Here we go on this Reaction Monday. Hour 3, every day, presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville, or Stark Vegas, however you prefer to say it. Hit them up, overstreetproperties.com. If you're moving to Starkville or, permanently, or you head up there for ball games, need a condo, kind of your place. When you come into town, it's yours, it's ready, you have a place to stay. Or leasing an apartment, anything residential. Look at it that way. Anything residential in Starkville. Go to Overstreet Properties. My man Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties and overstreetproperties.com. That's where you start. Trust me on that. You'll be glad you did it. Tell him I said hey, and you'll be off and running. So lots of ways for you to be a part of the show. And I thought we might, you and I, kind of take a peek ahead at the weekend. And some of y'all on the live stream went ahead and began to do that in hour number 2, looking ahead at Arkansas and Alabama this weekend. Jasper on the live stream, he didn't give Arkansas much of a shot. He said Arkansas might score 7. And then Bama boy said, LOL, I'll give Arkansas 17 points. What about it? It's in Fayetteville, It's an 11 a.m. game, Alabama, they've always been focused. They play one week at a time. You have to if you're going to play for Nick. I know it. But he's coaching against it this week, and that is the old look ahead. Already got the West wrapped up. Just ran LSU out of the stadium. Celebrated a little bit. You better be careful about that. If anybody in this league can scheme you up, and I know that Missouri just lit his defense up. I know it. But if anybody can scheme you up in this league, it's going to be Barry Odom, the D coordinator at Arkansas. Maybe he and Zach Arnett at Mississippi State probably have been the 2 best this year. We watched 1 week of film, and by the end of the week, we got you figured out. And then it's just a matter of, can you do it? So we'll get into that. Some of your comments on the live stream on Facebook and YouTube and elsewhere. And, of course, as always, on the Country Pleasin' text line. Hope you'll text me. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. It is the best, period. Hands down, sausage. Walk up in the store and say, Country Pleasin', please. Hey, the Homecoming Queen came up with a new slogan for Country Pleasin'. Y'all tell them I said it. Country Pleasin' is for every season. How about that? I'll tell you this much. I'm going to use it, and HQ deserves a big old round of applause for that. She's not even here. Country Pleasin' for every season. Winter, spring, summer, fall. I love it. So here we go. 885-ESPN is the number to text the show. 885-ESPN or 885-3776. Pig fan said, great job, man. I love the show. I'm in Mississippi 1 week a month and tune in on 105.9 The Zone. That's from Pig fan. Well, man, I appreciate that. Really am glad that you are with us 1 week out of the year. What I'm going to do, Pig fan, is I'm going to type it in there for you so that when you come back and text us, and even if you text some of the other shows on the Country Pleasin' text line, they're going to know who you are. Pig fan will know what's up. So, hey, but look, Pig fan, even when I know that, you go back to Arkansas or wherever that is, but, you can tune into shows there. But wherever you go, you can get us. All right. So thezone1059.com, or just use the TuneIn app or the iHeartRadio app. The one I used to use iHeart. Now I use radio.com. It's the radio.com app. And it's free. And you just go in there and type in 105.9 ESPN or whatever it is. Search it. You'll see it, The Zone. And once you click it, hit that heart. It makes it one of your favorites. You can listen to it live wherever you go all the time. Okie doke. Okie doke. Thank you. TR from Braxton. He says, always the problem at State and Ole Miss. Good on one side of the ball, shaky on the other side. Depth on both sides, and let's say depth on both sides in the hump. Did you mean to type in the hump, TR? I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought we were talking football. Anyway, Seymour says Fedora at Southern Miss, and he tanked at North Carolina. But didn't they have some success early on at North Carolina under Fedora? It sort of kind of went sour towards the back end of it right there. I can go look them up. You know, one way I could do it is just head over to Winsipedia.com. Wins, the letter I, pedia.com. Winsipedia.com. I could look it up right there. Matter of fact, I'm going to click on North Carolina. I could look at it year for year. We'll see what Coach Fedora did there. Who do they play this weekend, by the way? North Carolina, they playing Syracuse? Syracuse. Okay. Who, or Clemson? Are they playing Clemson this weekend? Heck, man, I don't know. What years was Fedora there? Anybody know? You tell me what years Fedora was the coach, and I'll tell you what he I got it. Here it is, Winsipedia.com. Folks over at Winsipedia are probably saying, Matt, dadgummit, it's right there in front of you. Yeah, you're right. It is. When did he take over? He had Butch Davis and then Withers for 1 year. Okay, Fedora. 2012. Again, you can find all this information. You can compare any two teams, but you can also look at like the history, the total historical record for any one team, like I'm doing here at Winsipedia.com. Wins the letter I, pedia.com. North Carolina. Fedora went there in 2012. He went 8-4. First year there. 2013, year 2 for Fedora. He went 7-6. 2014, year 3, he went 6-7. So 6-6, lose a bowl game, I reckon, huh? 2015, his 4th year, they went 11-3. 2016, they went 8-5. And then that's when it fell off. 2017, they went 3-9, and then backed it up in 2018, 2-9. And that's when they got a new coach. So it fell off. You're right. It tanked over the course of 2 years. They went 11 games and then 8, and then a 3-win and a 2-win season. So it fell off, but early on, he appeared to have it going there. Seymour. I mean, the guy can coach. I don't know what the story was there or why they had that fall off, but the guy can coach. Where is he now? Is he back at Oklahoma State? True Maroon says, I wish that impersonator would call back. He said, my buddies Gator Man and White Denzel absolutely love him. He's great, man. My man Ryan. And Ryan actually hit me up on the YouTube live stream a little while ago, and he complimented my vest. I got cold, so I put a vest on. I'm trying to warm up. And he said, speaking of vests, I'm going to miss seeing Derek Mason's amphibious vest. You hear that, Ryan? You got some fans on here, your impressions. I would rank, if I were ranking the quality of his impressions, I would go probably number 1, Chris Rock. Number 2, maybe for him, John Madden. Number 3, somewhere like Joe Pesci, something like that. And his Chucky, his John Gruden is really good also. Real C, good to hear from you today, sir. On the text line, 885-3776, after your tweet earlier today picking on Chris Brooks. Real C says, some of us find little value in Twitter. I'm not some, but whatever those snowflakes say. Value. I mean, the only reason you use Twitter is just to pick on Chris. That's all you use it for. Tyler says, country pleasing for every season. Winter, spring, summer, fall, country pleasing is great for all. You are on top of it, Buddy Rowe. Rich from Moorville says, football, basketball, baseball, country pleasing is for all. There you go. See, we add that on there. Country pleasing for every season. LS Shoe says, country pleasing for any season. It's great for a meal or just a snack. It sure is, isn't it? For some of us more than others. Walt texted the show. Let's see what he says here. Matt, as long as you have the talent on the defensive side of the ball to run it, in your opinion, could Joe Lee Dunn's style of defense still work in today's college football? Loved watching his defense at Ole Miss. Walt, the Zach Arnett scheme kind of brought this to mind. Yeah, well, it definitely could work. I mean, if you had 2 NFL corners and the ability pre-targeting for your safety to just knock people out when they come across the middle of the field to avoid those corners, then you got something. I mean, absolutely could work with the right personnel. Pass rush, fire-breathing pass rush off the edge. The personnel is everything. Like when you look at those late 90s teams that we had at State, it wasn't that you just had lockdown corners. You had 2 NFL corners, Fred Smoot, Robert Bean. It wasn't that you just had that, okay, but you also had like a Josh Morgan at safety who, big hitter at safety, and was really good, really smart, former quarterback. Like he knows the game. He's going to be around the ball, and it's pre-targeting and just knock people out, okay? A run-stopping front to go with it with NFL defensive tackles. Dorsett Davis, Willie Blade, Toby Galladay, John Hilliard, Connor Stevens, and I'm Alvin McKinley. I mean, like every one of these guys I'm naming for you played in the NFL, okay? And they're all on the same team on the defensive front, so teams can't just go, well, they only have 6 in the box, and they bring all this pressure. We'll just run the ball against it because we pop it. There's nobody left. Well, you couldn't run the ball against it. They're too good. So you put NFL players all over the field, it almost doesn't matter what you call. You just be aggressive, go hit the quarterback, and scare the daylights out of everybody you play because they don't see it the rest of the year. But if you run out of that personnel, or if you have personnel that can simply beat that personnel, then it may not look great sometimes. And I don't think any of those things change regardless of what the scheme is. I just feel like, in general, there's way, way, way too much out here made about scheme in our everyday conversations among fans and on shows like this and everything else. How often do we have, you listen to some like team associated podcast where they're really diving deep with that particular team, and they'll go on for 45 minutes about a team switching from the 3-4 to the 4-3. You kidding me? If we really had a great understanding of what those defenses are, they're basically the same thing. You go, well, there's 3-4. Well, watch the team. Half the time they put a guy walk up, one of these 4 walks up on the line of scrimmage anyway. What do you got now? 4 on the line of scrimmage. Now it's a 4-3. And it's a difference of 3 feet. That's the thing to me, is people making a big deal out of 3-4 versus 4-3. Well, there are times all year long I look out there, and in this quote-unquote 3-3-5 scheme for Mississippi State, they got 4 guys on the line of scrimmage all year long. Why? Well, one of these that we're calling the quote-unquote linebackers, Jordan Davis, Tyrus Wheat, who's about 260 pounds, has walked forward about 4 feet, or in some cases, maybe as much as 4 yards. And now he's on the line of scrimmage. Well, that's a 4-man defensive front. And they don't have a nose guard right over the center. They're playing gaps. That's a 4-man front. But this is a 3-3-5 scheme. See what I'm saying? And the only difference is if he scoots back a little bit, now it's a 3-3-5. It's just, We make so much a big deal out of these schemes, and it ain't that's not the big deal. The scheme is not the deal. The players are the deal. Man, Warren Sapp can make any scheme work. Charles Woodson doesn't care where you line him up. Make a whole lot about scheme, and it's just that it's not the deal. It's about your responsibilities within it. Nobody in college football has coaches lining them up with no chance to succeed. But the best ones get the most out of their players, have given them the best pointers with the most motivation to actually do everything you've taught them, on top of having the ability to do it. Whether you're in a 3-4 or 3-3 or 4-3, or whether you like Oak Grove the other night in high school, you go zero coverage all the time and put 5 men on the line of scrimmage. Zero coverage means there are no safeties back there. We're just playing man on everybody. Well, Oxford kept hitting them on the jump ball and the 50-50 balls, and eventually they did some things different. They played a little zone, a little cover 3, put a safety in the middle of the field some, and made a few plays. But Oxford still found matchups. Oxford was very, very well coached. That was a heck of a game. All right, Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer. Bernard hanging on to be a part of the show. Bernard, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? And I like your comment in reference to the scheme of people already pre-said, hey, well, they're going to run a 3-3-5 or a 4-3 defense. It's basically about whatever the offense gives you and whatever athletes that you have on the field, that's what tells what type of defense you're going to run. Because you have nowadays, you have some stand-up defensive ends, they playing linebacker. And some people say, well, do I classify him as a lineman or a linebacker? Mm-hmm. But it just depends on how the different schemes that the coaches run based on what the offense gives them. But me personally, as a defensive-minded coach, just give me some athletes. I just put 11 guys on the field. I'm not going to tell you how we're going to line up because you may even have my linebackers back there safety, so you just never know.
You know what, Bernard, and you're on to something there, and I have always felt that coaches on defense, defensive coaches are so worried's not the right word. They are so preoccupied with making sure their players are in the right spot once the ball is snapped, right? Like they want to give them, they're so worried somebody's getting out of position that they undervalue confusing the quarterback pre-snap. See, if I were coaching, I really think I would probably go coach defense because I see when I watch games, I watch it through the eyes of a quarterback. So like you show me a game on TV, the first thing my eyes go to is I look at the defense. I don't look at the offense, how they're lined up. I look at what's the defensive formation because as a quarterback, all I ever did was go to the line of scrimmage and look at the defense, right? And looking at the defense pre-snap, the computer is already running, okay, he's there, 2 safeties, here's middle linebacker, my protection is here. You're counting safeties and alignment. And I've always felt like a 4-man defensive front was the easiest thing for a quarterback to see pre-snap and determine. Well, our defenses at Mississippi State in the late 90s, what did they do? They stood up. They never would line up for you. We had, Tim Couch and those guys that go to the line of scrimmage against Jolie Dunn's defense, they never knew what State was running pre-snap because he wasn't willing to show you.
And that's the thing about confusing offense because, like I said, being a quarterback, you're basing your call off of how the defense is set up. And as a defensive-minded coach, you should never give them the opportunity to say, hey, well, this is what we're going to run, so you're going to adjust your offense. And that's why the thing about Peyton Manning, he barked at so many cadence all day because he changed his play about 3,000 times before he even snapped it, based off the defense.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then, post-snap, it's based off of a certain, defensive movement. But to me, teams that spread you out and they're going 4 and 5 wides, well, where they are vulnerable is in their protection because they don't have very many. They got everybody out here lined up as receivers. They don't have a lot of guys that can be in on pass protection, right?
Exactly, and then that's when you have them speed edge rushers that's coming in running a 4-3 against an offensive line. He can block, but he doesn't have that quickness to catch that 4-3 guy.
Right.
And then, like Rice said, that's when you lose a lot of protection.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. Good stuff, Bernard. Thanks for calling me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Now on the phone, Can. And I've got like a minute and a half to 2 minutes, Can. I hope that's enough time for you. Go right ahead. Can, are you there?
I'm here. You got me?
Yeah, I got you now. Go ahead.
Okay, good. Real quick. You think about those three state championships on Highway 28 from McGee down to Taylorsville to SoSo.
Yeah.
And they're playing some good high-speed football in that 28 corridor down there.
Isn't it something, Can, how...
Ain't that amazing?
It's just amazing right there on one stretch of highway. Well, and think about Winston County. Nanawaya, back-to-back state championships for Nanawaya, and in that same time frame, Louisville has won a couple also, all from one county.
They must have some special genes in the dirt up there for some reason. I don't know where they got, but I'm an old West Jones fan. Back when it was Northwest Jones, 1968. I sure enjoyed watching them play and finally win that first.
Thanks for the call, Van. I got your name wrong. It's Van, not Can. Stick around.
Sorry, dude, that's my fault.
Trust me on this, you will sleep better on a mattress from Nest & Wild. It's 100% American made, from top to bottom, all the way to the floor. It's a great Mississippi company. It's right here at home. I know the people. Every mattress they make is 12 inches thick. And if you order it, it'll show up in your doorstep in 5 days. So if you're like me and sometimes you procrastinate on Christmas gifts, you can wait right up until the last minute. All right, I'm not suggesting that, but you could do it. And if you use Bully20, BULLY20, you also get a free pillow top mattress cover to go with it. So it's a great deal. Use that code. Go to nestandwild.com, order your mattress, get it here in time for Christmas. Winsipedia.com. Winsipedia.com. Wins, the letter I, pedia.com. Winsipedia.com. If you're a football fan, if you keep up with games, you have a favorite team who's playing somebody new this weekend, certainly if you're a person that's in media like me, you're in radio or maybe you write, this is an incredible website that's a resource for any historical matchup. You can compare any two teams, just put them in there, no matter who they are in Division I football. It'll give you the entire series history. It'll give it to you visually in a graph. You can click on individual matchups. You can look at the whole list. You can even get information, historical information on just one team, but Winsipedia, it's a great historical matchup resource for college football. Check it out.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, let me tell you a little bit about C-Spire. If you head with me over to cspire.com, over to their website, this is something you can do. And I noticed this today before I went and logged in. I was going to pay my bill. And it says at the top, deals you can believe in. You click that shop deals, and it takes you over here to a couple of things that you need to know about here for the holiday season. First of all, they're doing a trade-in right now. So like I can take my old iPhone 8 Plus and trade this in for an iPhone 12. The other thing is I wanted to show you this. First of all, I love the ad with the bull and the Santa hat, but the no bull deal, you probably heard about that on our show. No gotchas and hidden in the fine print in the bill. No most expensive plan requirements. No waiting 3 months to get your promo credit. No having to, bring a phone number with you, all that kind of stuff. I can tell you from experience, I go here, my bill's the same every month. There's not a lot of hidden stuff. My cost doesn't go up. Once I'm in. I know what it costs every month. You get all of that stuff. And I just wanted to make you aware. Just go to cspire.com. You can see all of it. Merry Christmas. Trust me on this, you will sleep better on a mattress from Nest and Wild. It's 100% American made, from top to bottom, all the way to the floor. It's a great Mississippi company. It's right here at home. I know the people. Every mattress they make is 12 inches thick. And if you order it, it'll show up in your doorstep in 5 days. So if you're like me and sometimes you procrastinate on Christmas gifts, you can wait right up until the last minute. All right, I'm not suggesting that, but you could do it. And if you use Bully20, BULLY20, you also get a free pillow top mattress cover to go with it. So it's a great deal. Use that code. Go to nestandwild.com, order your mattress, get it here in time for Christmas. Back with you. Decided I'd take a seat for the third hour of the show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Matt. In the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau. Hour 3 presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville, or Stark Vegas, however you want to say it. You know where I'm talking about. So if you're headed up there, anything residential, moving there, need a condo, leasing an apartment if you are a student, any of that, go to Overstreet Properties. That's overstreetproperties.com. Tell Kane Overstreet I said hello. If you're tuning in on the live stream, hey to y'all. Let me see what you're talking about here on the live stream. I got it all in one place. Debbie, my mother-in-law, she said hello a little bit back there. Good to hear from her. Down in Vicksburg, Vix Vegas. KJ on the live stream said teams have moved the ball against Alabama all year. I expect Florida to finish the drives other teams couldn't. And then he said, I'm not saying that Florida wins, but I bet it's close. Okay. Sven said, let me pour some coffee here from High Point Roasters in New Albany. New Albany. All right. Sven said, but Jones will score on Florida at will, and Trask will not, I guess, meaning against Alabama. KJ responded and said, I don't think they will. I think Florida is looking ahead. They are starting to get the quarterback pretty often, too. The first team only gave up 7 last week and 10 against Kentucky. A little back and forth going on right there. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be ready. I just think that I'm a little bit like Sven. Like, I don't see how Florida goes in there and consistently gets the Alabama offense off the field. And I think maybe we don't see that game in the 40s, 50s points-wise. I think it's maybe 20s, 30s, because I think Alabama's going to have the ability to shorten that game with a running game that Florida does not have. Florida very well coached, and they're going to have some players that can go in there and play. They're going to be prepared for it for sure, but I would lean towards Alabama. I lean towards Alabama in a way of not like 38-35. I lean towards them in a way of, maybe it is like a one-score game going into the fourth quarter, and there's 10 points scored by Alabama in that fourth quarter, and you look up and it's a 15, 16, 18-point ball game, something like that. That's kind of how I see it happening. What about this one? Pig Fan said this weekend, Bama 48, Hogs 27. Early game, Tide play it safe, avoid injuries, pull away in the second half. What do you think? Somebody said earlier Arkansas will score 7 points. And they go, nah, I'll give them 17. All right, so number one, Alabama. They are at Arkansas, 11 o'clock game this weekend on ESPN. And Arkansas sitting there 3-6, coming off a loss to Missouri, but played really well. Played pretty well considering they didn't have Felipe Franks in the game. And Boyd, the running back, not there. Some of those things. Played well. They play hard. And to me, given the DNA of that Arkansas team, the way it's been all year long, I think Barry Odom has them ready to play defensively, and he'll do some scheme up good things. This is exactly the kind of Alabama-Arkansas game in years past where it's late in the year. Bama already knows they're on track for national championship stuff, and Arkansas takes it to them a little bit. You can see that happening. 9-0 team. Maybe not. It's one of those where when that game's over Saturday, somebody could say to me, Matt, Arkansas kept it close for a while. Or, Matt, Alabama ran them out of there. Neither one of those is really going to surprise anybody. But I think there's a chance, given some stuff that Pig Fan touched on and we've talked about in this game, it just has the look. 9-0, number one Alabama at 3-6 Arkansas, but it's in Fayetteville, 11 a.m., and it just has the look of one to me where maybe a little more interesting than some people think for a couple of quarters. Still, Arkansas is not going to cover Smith down the field, but I think they'll show up. Georgia goes to Missouri. Missouri flying high. Man, look at here. Missouri 5-3 coming off that win, dramatic win, got a freshman quarterback. When you look up freshman stats in the SEC, it's for quarterbacks, it's this kid, Connor Bazelak, 1, and Will Rogers, Mississippi State, 2. That's 1 and 2 in all of it. Passing per game, total offense. That's them. This kid is thrown for 2,000 yards and 5 touchdowns, but played well for them. They're a 5-win football team. Missouri at home, unranked, 5-3. 1 game behind Georgia, 6-2, is ranked 8th in the country. Am I crazy? That one's interesting. Tennessee at Vandy. LSU goes to Florida, hopeless. Florida's a 24-point favorite. So, Bama goes on the road, faces Arkansas. Florida is at home hosting LSU. LSU just got embarrassed. This is supposedly one of those rivalry games. It's not really a rivalry. Florida's 8-1. You don't give LSU a chance to really go in there and win. It's just a matter of what does the game look like? Does LSU make it interesting? I don't think they do. I think Arkansas at home against Alabama. Well, let's look at it from Alabama's perspective. I think going to Arkansas this week is a much tougher task for Alabama than Florida hosting LSU there in Gainesville this weekend. That's not nearly as tough a deal as going to Arkansas, is it? Says a lot. It really says a lot. And then you've got Auburn going to Mississippi State. Auburn coming off the loss to A&M, and Auburn's supposed to win the game, but they're only about a touchdown favorite on the road. And again, that's one. Auburn 5-4, but at least one, but really two of their wins shouldn't have been. State 2-6, been more competitive the last couple of ball games against Georgia, Ole Miss, but we're still losses, and they're still shorthanded, but they're getting some people back now. Playing hard and all that. It looks to me like it's one of those kind of like that Arkansas game. I said, when that game's over, we may look up and Auburn won it by 17 points. And you go, well, I'm not surprised. But you also may look up at that one and go, hey, State beat Auburn. Beat them, 28-24. You'd go, well, not really all that surprised. I think that says a lot. And then Ole Miss at Texas A&M. What you see in that one, A&M 7-1, ranked 5th in the country. The thing I see in that one is Ole Miss will score. They'll move the ball. They will. But how in the world is that Ole Miss defense supposed to stop A&M? And Isaiah Spiller, that running back who's sitting there 96 yards shy of 1,000 right now rushing. I mean, what will A&M's rushing total be in this game? Whatever it wants to be. That's where that is. And the other thing that we haven't discussed on this show, and because I don't know how to discuss it, State and Ole Miss after the Egg Bowl. It's a little different, Alabama-Auburn. After the Iron Bowl, big rivalry game, sure, different kind of year. Bama year to year, eyes on a different prize. State and Ole Miss, they don't have games after the Egg Bowl immediately. Ole Miss, big celebration, hold up the trophy, big win. They're 4-4, but more games to play. Well, what is it like for them post-Egg Bowl? Are they up for this? Because I know you're going to be 2 weeks removed by the time you run out there. That's a tough road trip for Ole Miss, considering that matchup. A&M's run game versus Ole Miss's run defense is not supposed to be. That ain't a good matchup for Ole Miss, for sure. Just a glance ahead at some of the games. Just a quick little glance ahead. All right, more of your text. Tyler, Bama fan, coming to y'all. We'll see what's up. Derek, you too. We'll see what's up on the live stream when we come back and get ready to wrap this hour up with you next. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding, whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Hey, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. If you head with me over to cspire.com, over to their website, this is something you can do. And I noticed this today before I went and logged in. I was going to pay my bill. And it says at the top, deals you can believe in. You click that shop deals, and it takes you over here to a couple of things that you need to know about here for the holiday season. First of all, they're doing a trade-in right now. So like I can take my old iPhone 8 Plus and trade this in for an iPhone 12. The other thing is, I wanted to show you this. First of all, I love the ad with the bull and the Santa hat, but the no bull deal, you probably heard about that on our show. No gotchas and hidden in the fine print in the bill, no most expensive plan requirements, no waiting 3 months to get your promo credit, no having to bring a phone number with you, all that kind of stuff. I can tell you from experience, I go here, my bill's the same every month. There's not a lot of hidden stuff. My cost doesn't go up. Once I'm in. I know what it costs every month. You get all of that stuff. And I just wanted to make you aware. Just go to cspire.com. You can see all of it. Merry Christmas.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
You hear me say Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson a lot on the radio show. Highway 51 in Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson. And yeah, it's tractors, okay? Kubota tractors, they have New Holland tractors, big equipment, skid steers, ATVs, all that. But you need to know this time of year, if you're a deer hunter, if you know a deer hunter in the area, anywhere around Madison and Jackson, Davini has everything, okay? I'm not talking about just, feeders and all the stuff that goes with that, but tree stands, climbing stands, chairs, camo this, camo that, boots, accessories, everything for the hunter. Davini Equipment, Highway 51 Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I've been accused of wearing a lot of hats in my career. And if you go to the Mississippi State University golf course, you can wear a lot of hats, a lot of the same hats I wear. Oh, that's nice. You like that. On Twitter, they are at HailStateGC, or call them 325-3028. That's the Mississippi State University golf course. We wear a lot of hats. Hail State. All right, let's wrap it up. On this Reaction Monday, really appreciate y'all listening in. We had a lot of people tuning in on the live stream today, a lot of comments, a bunch of good callers, text line full of stuff. Again today, really do appreciate all of that. Tyler on the Country Pleasing text line, he made up a whole thing. So this is how this all started. Let me backtrack if you're just tuning in. This is how it all started. By the way, I'm at Farm Bureau Studio, Farm Bureau, go! With the home team, Farm Bureau Insurance, your hometown heroes. It all started because I told you that Anna Beth, my wife, homecoming queen, came up with this, and she's like, you got to use this on your show because it makes sense. Country pleasing for every season. It makes sense, whether it's sports season or seasons of the year, because what made her think of that is the old commercial and the old live stream was from way back in the summer where I was talking about it's summer, it's hot. You could hear the locusts. What do we call those? Locusts out there making that racket. It was obviously summer, and it was about summer. And she's like, well, it's not summer anymore. You got to change that. Not only we changed that, we changed everything. If you're watching the live stream, that new cameras, new software, everything's new. Probably the next time Anna Beth is here, we're going to have a camera on her also. So, all this stuff. So we changed up the commercial breaks in the live stream also. And so when I film the thing out there by the fire pit, where sometimes I sit out there and cook sausage over a fire, because I like to imagine that I'm a caveman sometimes, or could be anyway. I'm not, but I like to imagine it. She told me to say this, and I totally forgot it. So I brought it to the show, and it's just perfect. Country pleasing for every season. Well, Tyler started out with, on the text line, country pleasing for every season, winter, spring, summer, fall. Country pleasing is great for all. And now he's followed it up. I have not previewed this. I'm just going to read it. It's long. It's lengthy. Let's just see what we think. Tyler worked on this. I'm going to give him credit. Country pleasing for every season. He said, premium meat, none of the rest. Hand split hickory, simply the best. Where can you find a sausage so fine? Your local grocers and on 49. Whether the morning or just before bed, it'll make your tongue slap the hat off your head. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Country pleasing is great for all. Look, and here's the thing about it. Tyler's a country pleasing sausage eater, and you know it's good when people write songs about you. Tyler, we're sitting around here writing poems about sausage. And I'm proud of it. That was great, Tyler. Thank you for participating. I'm going to screenshot it, save it. I will not take credit for your work, but I may repeat it. Derek says, what's up, man? I saw where Mississippi State's recruiting class has dropped to number 38 in the country. That will not cut it in the SEC. Can you please touch on this? Keep up the good work. Derek, I appreciate your text, and I know it's taken me a whole bunch of minutes to get to it. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what the rankings are. I don't know. I mean, if it's not in the top 10, what difference does it make? I just ain't into it, man. I'm not. And I appreciate you listening. I really do. You know, there's some guys in this state like Steve Robertson at 24/7 and David Johnson for the Ole Miss folks, and they do an unbelievable job of keeping up with. I don't know how they keep up with everything they keep up with. They do a great job, and you can, read their stuff. And I know like Steve comes on Bo's show a bunch. He'll come on here. I don't schedule a lot of guests anymore, but when I do any recruiting, I'll call Steve and see if he's available. But I just don't have the bandwidth to keep up with it, and frankly, I just don't care. Tell me who's on the team next fall when we're about to play, and I'll go watch them practice. That's basically my approach. I do not care. They're 50th. They're 15th. Same thing. Bama fan is predicting Ole Miss to upset Texas A&M 48-35. Put him on record here. And Mississippi State to upset Auburn 28-21. Sven also is predicting Ole Miss will light Texas A&M up. We got more than one person here. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at it going, well, how is Ole Miss going to stop A&M's run game? And if you can't stop the other team's run game, the game's over after you're about your fourth offensive possession. You're like, where'd the time go? Well, they used the whole game up running the ball. That's the thing. That's what I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they light them up when they have it, but maybe A&M is on the field as long as they want to be. Bates gave a big old thumbs up and high five and round of applause for Tyler's great job with his poetry. Tyler's a poet and don't know it. You get a rhyme every time. True Maroon thinks that both Mississippi teams will win this weekend. Hey, let's say this, though. That'd be the most Texas A&M thing ever happened, wouldn't it? It really would. We're 7-1. We get a top 5, recruiting class every year at Texas A&M, where we are now with Jimbo. And we're sitting here at 7-1, hosting Ole Miss at 4-4, and Ole Miss come in there and beat us. And Matt Corral go for about 450 and 5 touchdowns. Huh? That'd be about the most A&M thing ever. And as soon as it happens, Ole Miss go in there and beat them this weekend. As soon as it happens, y'all run over to the Aggie website for their live stream and listen to some former player call the Mississippi team's trash programs, yet can't beat them consistently. I remember that. That got some people fired up. Jason in Flagstaff, country pleasing text. He calls them the hottest locusts. Green cicadas making all that racket. Miko says the bigger problem for TSUN is positive COVID tests. Yeah, man, I don't wish that on anybody. Don't wish it on anybody. I have a friend who, he's not a long-lost friend. I just hadn't talked to him face-to-face in several years, but he is a friend, somebody I know who's up in the Corinth area. And he posted on Facebook he lost his grandfather to COVID. He's a very well-known, well-respected guy in the Corinth area who had he was getting on up there, had been through the World War II era, one of these great guys, and COVID got him. And they said he probably picked it up from another family member who none of them could figure out where they initially got it. And now this same friend of mine who just lost his grandfather, and they just buried him, now 3 members of his immediate family, including his father, are also down with it, and his father is in the hospital with it and has an oxygen level that's really low right now. And they're scared that they're going to lose him too. I just hate it. I just hate it. There's no guarantees. We're not guaranteed another day. We don't know the day or the hour or the minute when it's going to be our time to pass over into eternity. But the thing is, with something like this, we all feel cheated, don't we? We feel cheated of time. When something slips up and gets us that we didn't expect, we feel like it's unfair. I don't know why. I mean, it could be a severe case of the flu or pneumonia, or it could be falling off a ladder or out of a deer stand. It could be any freak thing, a car accident, but it could be anything. I read about 2 young boys that people are praying for right now in the Vicksburg area, that they're big-time duck hunters, young guys, love it, obsessed with duck hunting, and went out and they were in a boat and went out in the Mississippi River the other day, and they haven't been seen. They've been looking for them for 3 or 4 days, and as cold as it's getting at night, it is not looking good. So, I mean, it could be anything, but with the COVID thing, it feels like it's unfair. So I don't wish it on anybody. I hate it. Ready Teddy. He said, how in the world is A&M favored by 16? Never mind COVID. See, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, look, Ole Miss is in that same, category. We spent time talking early in the show about first-year coaches. We had an interesting question about first-year coaches and who's passing the test and who isn't. And I think they're all in different varying degrees, doing well. You look at Missouri, they're sitting there with 5 wins. You look at Ole Miss, they're sitting there with 4. Arkansas sitting there with 3. State sitting there with 2. Different situations, they're all different, but a lot of these first-year coaches, well, Ole Miss is still in that same boat. This is not a year where, in year 1 under Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, where you look at it and go, well, what's their win total? This isn't a win total year for these first-year coaches. It's just not. It's a reset button for some. It's a reinvigorate the physicality and fun in your program for others to get a start for the future. This was not going to be a win total year for Ole Miss. So it ain't about winning. I mean, winning is icing on the cake this weekend at A&M for Ole Miss. This is about, okay, we're down numbers. We'll go play anyway, play some young guys, let them get some experience, have a little fun, see what happens. Play ball, get the reps under your belt, and it'll benefit you down the road. That'll wrap it up for my show. Jake on the Drive coming up next. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. See y'all. See ya.